wanna see me mad. I'll be coming with that payback. You don't wanna taste that. Don't wanna see me on attack. Trust me, you don't wanna face that. Adrenaline, I crave that. Yeah, you know I'm nasty. I'm about to be a savage. When I want it, better have it. Nothing's getting past me. About to take this to the mat, and you'll be wishing you could take it back, yeah. Like an assassin, I'm praying. I gotta act on a craving. I'm coming after, I'm chasing. I'm gonna capture, erasing. Yeah, those who cross me, you'll be crossed off, cause I'm plotting. About to pop off, you can't stop me. Winning is exhausting, but I don't plan on stopping. As long as they keep talking, I got these bodies dropping. As long as they keep walking, I'll keep making deposits. They'll find out they can't stop it, cause they'll learn that I'm a prophet. Yo, I'm seeing all red. Got my vision blurry from the anger in my head. I'll never be second best. They gon' learn today what it feels to regret. You can't stop me now. The demons tearing out. Hold it down to your neck, cause I'm seeing all red. Cause I'm seeing all red. Can you feel that? That's pain coming out mad. That's unchained payback. They call me a maniac. When they do something that makes me mad, you won't ever see me hold back. I'm coming for you right now. Knock you out, call it lights out. Try fighting, but you'll find out I'm no longer nice now. That guy left him behind now. All you got's a beast with his claws out. Yo, I'm seeing all red. Got my vision blurry from the anger in my head. I'll never be second best. They gon' learn today what it feels to regret. You can't stop me now. The demons tearing out. Hold it down to your neck, cause I'm seeing all red. Cause I'm seeing all red. Cause I'm seeing all red. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and let's get this show started. Oh my goodness, what a day! Pretty busy day. Was having a lot of issues with StreamYard. It's like StreamYard is doing so many updates and they're adding on a lot of new things to their application, but it kind of messes up um, trying to start StreamYard, and also it kept kicking me out. Like I got kicked out at least 10 times. So if I have technical difficulties during the show, I apologize ahead of time. It's just been a very crazy beginning to the show. Um, but it's Tuesday, so yeah. I wasn't expecting to have so much technical difficulties. I had to delay the show 2 times. I wanted to start at 7:30, but I couldn't get it started, and I was like, "What in the hell is going on here?" So I kind of like had to restart the system and reboot everything, and I had everything set up. I don't even know if it's set up anymore. We got a lot of news to cover, so yeah, nothing's set up. I swear, StreamYard is just going like downhill. I mean, they're trying to make improvements, but the improvements that they're making is just not improvements. It's just like adding on shit, and it's making the system more slower. And I feel like it corrupts the system a little bit, so that it's like you can't get on. It takes a long time for it to pop open, and it's just weird what's going on with StreamYard. But I got my medicine all nice and rolled up. Smell it. Smells good. I do have a bunch of news for us to watch. I got some news from the White House. Got some news, a bunch of news to go over. I got 2 shows of Tyson De La Cruz, so we're definitely going to watch that towards the end. Possibly a third one if we could get to about 10 o'clock tonight. We'll see how that goes. I'm losing faith on StreamYard quicker. It's just the problem is that it's just the corruption. I guess they're putting new code and trying to do little updates here, updates there, but then it's slowing down the system and it's just not working properly. So it just really sucks today. Very frustrating, by the way. So I just want to get straight to the news. Okay, we got a whole bunch of news to go over. Oh my god. Okay, so let's go ahead and not delay this show any more than it is. Let me set this up here, and we're gonna just jump right into this. I gotta resize it. Here we go.
The people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries. My dad.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
So that's a fake video.
Well, it's got to be, because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that, because there's cameras all over the place, right?
Oh, they say it's
every
fake.
window, I've never seen a window that's. In fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, "Love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof." And
hey, Chloe.
number one, they're sealed.
How you
and
doing?
Number two, each window weighs about 600
You love the
pounds.
new
You have to be
intro?
pretty strong to open them up. No,
Thank
that has
you.
to be. Where was the window? Let me see.
Maybe from the
Wow,
river.
104.
Which is the window?
It looks like this is on the 15th Street side, I think.
Yeah.
So right here.
I need to go roll me up some
Yeah, that
medicine.
window's sealed.
Yes.
Those windows are all sealed. You can't open them.
Oh,
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have
That
with
is
AI, it's both
funny.
good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it, because I see so many phony things. I saw something, as I was growing up, from the time I was a baby till now, I said, who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
That's funny because the internet was going crazy today. When I say crazy, they were like going bonkers. They're like, "Oh my god, they threw a bag out the window. Oh my goodness, look. They're doing something deceiving. Look, it looks like a sculpture or some kind of like something they threw out the window." I'm like, y'all so concerned about this bag being thrown out the window, right? But you guys weren't that concerned when you found that bag of cocaine inside the White House. You guys weren't acting like that when you found the cocaine. You guys were like, "Oh, well, there's nothing to see here. We're not going to cover this so much. We're going to just pretend it didn't happen." What did you do with the bag of cocaine? Oh, no, we just snorted. No, we destroyed it. Yeah, we destroyed it. We destroyed it. Where did you destroy it? It has to have been Hunter. He destroyed it. I guess he put it all up in his nose and he got rid of it. Goodness gracious. Are you kidding me? And then they're going to go crazy with a fake generated bag being thrown out of the top of the White House window, which is sealed, and it's heavily, like, it's very heavy. They can't just open the windows to let air in there. It's so funny, but nice try, AI. Does and they fooled the world too, because the world was like falling for it. It's just crazy times we're living in. But that was funny though. That was really funny. Let me go ahead and, while I got the opportunity, let me resize all of the stories that I want to have lined up, at least the next few here, because I had it all set up. You guys don't understand. I was just stressing here. I was stressing because I was like, man, what the hell's going on here? It's like I had everything all set up, everything ready to go, and here comes StreamYard, like messing up, and it was just a headache. But we're here now together, and I do got a lot to go over with you guys. But how's your day going? How's everyone's Tuesday? I mean, I hear Chloe, it's 104 over in Texas. That's wild. It wasn't that hot here. I mean, it was what, in the 70s, I think? It's 70 right now. I think it was like 75, 76 today. It was nice. The weather was really nice today. I couldn't really complain. Everything just seems like it's a little off. I wonder if are we being a cyber attack? Oh, you know what could be? That's right. It could be the solar flare that is arriving here on Earth and bombarding us with a lot of energy. Yeah, every time that happens, it really makes the system act a little funky. It could be. Anything. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's go ahead and what is this? This is not what I wanted to do. Back this out. Okay, here we go. Chloe, puff away. Yes, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just light it up right now because, just yummy. Anxiety. It was giving me like anxiety, a little panic attack with the show not coming on, and I was like, wait a minute, I had to delay it. It's just I don't like doing that. I like to be on time. Yummy. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to more news. Actually, you know what? Let's see what Fox News has to say about that bag. Let me see. It's funny because you cannot open that window. So let's go to Let's go to the New York Post to see what they say about this bag being thrown out. And it's funny because it's all AI. It seems like it's AI generated. And let's go ahead and come back over here. Show this tab. And let's check out this news. All right, let me make myself a little bigger there, and let's watch from inside. For one thing, okay, look at the inside of the Oval Office. Look how beautiful it is inside there. Let's just take a moment and just look at the inside. Give me one sec. Here we go. Look how beautiful that is inside. I would tell all these people to take off their shoes. I'd be like, you cannot walk on this rug. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful White House. That's for damn sure. I wish I could go in there and just ask questions. That would be so much fun. Here we go.
Line now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
so that's a fake video.
Well, it's got to be because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's. In fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, "Love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof." And
Yep.
number
You
one,
can't open
they're
it.
sealed, and number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be-
Damn.
Where was the window? Let me see.
600 pounds. Yeah, that's fake. Look.
Maybe from the renovations.
Which is the window?
Looks like this is on the 15th Street side, I think. So right here.
You can't just open that
Yeah,
window.
those windows are sealed. Those windows are they're all sealed. You can't open them.
You can't open them. They're sealed.
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up from the time I was a baby till now. I said, who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to follow up with what you were saying regarding that federal appellate court that ruled against you and your administration.
That's crazy.
Well, they ruled against
That these windows are sealed.
Have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say we don't need help, we're safe. But 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit, and 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with it. They should have had the water coming down, like I said. We had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to LA. It's so badly
crazy.
run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that, And even the sheriff, the top law enforcement person in Los Angeles said, we could not have handled it without them. So that's what he said.
Make your mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when, we're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called DC, District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But,
Oh, Lord.
but it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly.
You have to have security.
There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago, it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back
That's
anytime
crazy.
soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week, you know, it was like years, many years where every single week somebody was killed for many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had last week, it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem. And we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has
That's
been
crazy
very
that we
helpful,
have crime problems.
and the police commission has been very helpful.
It's an embarrassment.
And it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem, and we'd love you to send in the troops because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today on one of your networks, not a friendly network, except really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African-American, who were Black. And they were saying, please, please, please let the president send it. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But, you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, something, you know, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting with, there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place.
Man, I wish I could go over there now.
Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am, please.
Calling on Democratic leaders across the country to work with you on crime. Do you see your efforts here in D.C., including, for example, working with Mayor Bowser here as a model for bringing more bipartisanship in matters not only with crime, but also issues that matter to everyday American people's lives?
So Mayor Bowser's been great. She could have taken the thing, oh, well, and then after I clean it up, they'll take credit for it. You know what they do is they take credit. Like, we cleaned up Los Angeles. We did a great job there. And it was overwhelming what was going on. And again, the police chief made a statement that we could not have done. There's no way they could handle it. You saw what was happening out there. It was going to be a disaster. We stopped it cold. If we didn't do that, would have been a very sad day. And you know, remember, we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, we have all these things coming, and we have 250, all of these things coming. But I want to say he's doing a great. He's not. We're the ones that did it, and that's okay, whatever it takes. But the main thing is But he got up and said, "We did it." Well, he didn't want us there, and he's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again. You know, we have to maintain. It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So it's an honor to do it. It's a lot of presidents wouldn't do what I'm doing. I don't need this heat. But when I watched television last night and I'm watching the news and I see that 9 people were killed in Chicago and 54 were badly wounded with bullets, I say, that's not this country. We have to do something. And I do say this, I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody but them right now. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. You know, Pete will tell you that when I was running for office, and this was a big headline, I think, you know, probably got me a couple of votes, but you couldn't sign people in the military. Nobody wanted to join the military, the Army, Air Force, the Navy, Army, Marine, Space Force, Coast Guard. We never forget Coast Guard because they've done such a great job. Never. But nobody wanted to join any of them. We were way below what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines, whatever that is. You'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country's the hottest country anywhere in the world right now.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
That's pretty good. Let's go watch
when you
this
come
one.
out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible.
Wow, they shot down a boat.
Took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that. after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
Senator Tuberville talked about the cost savings
Yeah.
associated with this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much else there. And having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups of experts. They all said this was the best location. I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama, they are great people, work
You're gonna
hard.
have a lot of
And
jobs.
there's no games, and they're very proud of it. And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot of states, 5 states really wanted it, but they wanted it more. And I kid you not when I say that these people, they spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location.
That's not a bad thing. Like the new Space Force. Remember that from the channel? Space Force. Yeah. They're back in the news, and their base is gonna be in Alabama. Alabama. And good for them. I mean, whatever they're gonna be doing. Yeah. Who knows? It's another branch of the military. I wonder if they are monitoring that what number is that? that 3i Atlas. Yeah. That's gonna be making like crazy news in a few months when it starts approaching and getting closer. That's what the talk is gonna be of everyone is the 3i Atlas, which is going to make a pretty close approach, but it's going to be on the other side of the sun. That's going to be passing by. My problem is this could generate some kind of sunburst of a flare, like a really strong flare that hits our Earth and fucks up all the satellites. Everything goes blackout. Everything's just gone. No electricity, no internet, no My Mind Over Your Matter, no influencers because they cannot do any shows. Everything's gonna be back to the Stone Age. Like, and a lot of people are gonna die. Like, that's why a lot of these like ancient back in the days, they experienced this before. This is not the first time this has ever happened. That's why they build caves and actually like a whole city structure underground so they could get away from the sun, because the sun was just like throwing out this energy and it was just like killing people. So yeah, it's gonna happen again. It's already happening. People are like getting cancer and skin cancers and all different types of cancers, and they wonder, how is this happening? Well, 2 things: the shit they spray in the air and the fucking sun. Oh boy, I'm gonna roll up another joint because I feel like this is gonna be a 2-joint show. I'm like, you know what, I got that one rolled up, but we're gonna have to roll up another one. It's gonna be a long night, but it's okay. I want to make it to at least the Tyson upload, which is about 10:15, give or take. Tyson De La Cruz will be here on Thursday at 7:30, so be here. Ask him questions. I'm telling you right now, I'm the only one on YouTube exclusively that is bringing Tyson De La Cruz to a 0 audience. That's incredibly crazy, but It is what it is. Because in the future, it's not gonna be this quiet. I guarantee you, it's not gonna be this quiet. And I gotta thank Tyson for that because I could see that happening. Tyson's gonna be fielding a lot of questions that are coming his way from his people because he's gonna bring some of his people up this way, and he's at a high number of subscribers, so I wouldn't want to reach where he's at because that's a crazy amount of numbers. Like, I think he's over like 108 right now, 108,000. Let me check. I gotta do a daily check on Tyson. We're gonna be doing daily checks on Tyson Little Cruz on this channel. Okay, he's still at 100 and listen to me, still at 107,000. 107,000 subscribers. And I'm over here with fucking 500 and like, where am I at? Good question. Where am I at? On my subscription count. Let's see. Give me 1 second to check. 516. Not bad, not bad. We could do better. We could do a lot better. And I need to post up more on the shorts. Maybe grab some of the stuff that I'd be talking on my shows and just make shorts out of it. I think that'd be a good idea. So that way I can attract people and bring more people up to the show. And I'm going to be showcasing Tyson. So that's definitely going to bring in a good amount of people in the near future. So it's quiet now. That's okay. It's not going to be quiet later. And that's going to be cool. I'm going to have a good time. Trust me. Right. We got it all grounded up. We got to smell it. It smells so good. Like what I'm smoking is the I kind of mixed this one with two flavors. So because I want to try both of them together. But that deep blue gas flower is so delicious. It is so delicious. And I mixed it with garlic grape. What a name, right? Garlic grape. Weird. Weird. We haven't heard about her in a while. Where's AOC? It's like they post these puppets out and they're like, all right, puppets, go attack, do your thing, act crazy. And now it's like, puppets, back down. Jasmine Crockett, back down. We're gonna send out an OG. Oh no, who gonna send out? Maxine Waters. Oh no. Oh no. Maxine Waters. That crazy, yeah, that lady. The one with the hair. Yeah, the one with the hair that has a lot of secrets holding inside. That hair is like, it wants to talk to me. That hair was like, listen, man, this bitch is a liar. She's a crazy nut. I have to sleep on this damn head all the time. This fucking sucks. Like, this is punishment. Kill me. Like, get me and burn me. That's the wig talking. Like, oh no. Maxine Waters wig. What's happening? This bitch is crazy. I can't deal with it anymore. I want to fucking burn myself. Oh no. That's wild. That is so wild. This government is so weird. Like, everything's happening is so weird. The way the Democrats are acting is even more weirder. The fact that the government is offering help, right? They're trying to act like they're a separate country. Like, they're the Democrats, like especially Chicago, they're acting like they're Afghanistan. They're acting like they're kind of like Ukraine. Like, they're acting like very how can I say it? Very dictatorship, like dictators in Chicago. Very defiant. Like, we're not going to help the federal government. We're not going to help ICE. None of my officers are going to help them. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Last time I checked, where is Chicago located? Illinois, right? Okay. Illinois. Okay, so what is Illinois part of the United States? Yes? Oh, okay. Well, listen. Shut the fuck up. They're going to send in the troops and they're going to help reduce the crime. It's fucking crazy in Chicago. End of story. It's crazy in New York. It's crazy in Boston. All these democratic fucking cities are fucking crazy. Look at LA. Look at San Francisco. Look at Portland, Maine. Like, just go, like, like, go everywhere, and you see, like, okay, I said Portland, Maine, but it's Portland, Oregon. So Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, like all these fucking Democratic run cities are garbage. Like, it's just the crime is just so much. What is going on? Why people, like, guns don't kill people, people kill people. Okay? Don't blame the guns. It's not the gun's fault. The gun is just the middleman. The man is what killed another man or woman. These bitches are crazy too out there. Okay? So there's a big problem in this country with crime. There's traveling warnings from other countries from outside of the United States that warning their travelers to be very careful in certain cities here in the United States. Chicago is one of them, New York, LA, all these cities are just really the pits. It just blows my mind, but yet everybody wants to be like, and the billionaires, we have to rally against the billionaires. That's what they did this weekend. And it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense at all. And now they're trying to figure out what's the next thing to rally against. The bag they threw out the window. The bag. What was in that bag? Everybody, what was in that bag? What was in that bag? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh goodness, Chloe, your brother lives in Chicago. Oh my god. He should report. He should come on my show. I said, listen, man, come on, have a Chicago, someone from fucking Chicago come on to my show and talk to me and tell me, how is Chicago? How is Chicago? Like, I want to hear it from a resident. Oh my God, Chloe, you got the hookup. Tell your brother, come on the show. Come on the show with when I have Tyson on here. Listen, when I have Tyson on here, bring your brother here. Bring your brother. Like, bring him on here. I would like to talk to him about Chicago and how he feels about his lovely mayor and also his governor. Like, this is crazy. This world is just a shit show. It is. It's an embarrassment, to be honest with you. The way things are going, it's like I think the Democrats do it on purpose to put that type of stuff on film and put it out to the world to make the U.S. look bad. I just think that's why. He's like the second guy at the what's that, the rail yard, the railroad. He's always busy. See, ask him if he wants to come on here. I would love to have him on here, especially with Tyson. We'll clip it out. We'll put it on Tyson's show. Tyson gets, I'm telling you, he has 107,000. He's going to be clipping part of my show and putting it on his show, and they're going to be like, who the fuck is that dude? I want to go talk to him. And then the people are going to come. And it's going to be like, holy shit, Rick said it. Look at it. And then you'd be like, listen, I told you guys, but y'all didn't listen. But it's okay. People were busy, people got things to do, and I understand, but it's gonna be interesting the near future. Get my medicine rolled up because I need another one this night. I'm gonna need another one. Okay, let's see what else we got to watch. Um, another one of Trump. How long is this one? Okay, this one's not that long. It's a minute and 50 seconds, so we could watch this one. Because I was like, all right, because Trump did about a 47 minute like meeting with the media in the Oval Office. But we didn't ever see the Oval Office when Biden was president. I don't even think. Did we ever get to see the inside of the Oval Office while Biden was president? I don't remember. And the fact that we get to like watch it almost like on a daily basis and like on a weekly basis, that's amazing, man. The transparency, the openness, the communication with the media, and the fluid of the communication is amazing right now. And the fact that like the Democrats, they can't handle it. They're having like they're melting. They're melting. They can't handle it. They're like, no, come up with something. We need another thing that sticks. Throw it at the wall. We already tried that one. Try another one. Like they just need to be. Listen, we're all Americans. There's no really two sides, no fucking party. You see, that's how the mind, the brain, like the left and the right. That's just it's mind games. That's just manipulation. Like there's no such thing as parties. We're all humans together. We live in this fucking world together. Like all this little side shit with parties and Democrats and the Republicans and the right and the left and the red and the blue doesn't make any sense to fucking any one of you. We're all humans. We live in this planet together. We need to fucking solve our problems and move forward. I don't want to stay stagnant. I don't want to be going backwards. I want to be progressing forward. Like, my goodness. You could clip that and put it on fucking YouTube. It's like all these people want to live in the past. Oh, we want reparations. You were slave owners and this and that and all this craziness and you're racist and all this. And like, what we keep being stuck in these same issues. They dealt with these issues back in the days in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Like, we keep dealing with the same bullshit. Like, when is that cycle going to stop? That's why we keep repeating, because we never get to like solve our problems. We're all stuck in the same fucking bullshit. It's like I feel like we're stuck in a loophole. Like we're just stuck in the same loop, and we're just going in circles and circles and circles and circles and repeating. It's like, when y'all ever gonna learn, man? We're all in this together. It's not about Democrats, Republicans. It's about humanity and moving humanity forward. It's that's how I think. That's why these people want me to run for fucking Congress. They want me to be a congressman. That's amazing, right? Would I want to run? No, not in this lifetime. Maybe another lifetime, another cycle. If I come back, then maybe I can do it. But I'm too fucked up right now to even try to attempt to get into that game and deal with that attention. I don't want it. That's it right now. I would have been one hell of a congressman here. So you see my show. I don't stay quiet. I speak up. And I try to be as transparent as possible. You know, but maybe in another lifetime. But other than that, I got the second joint rolled up, looking all nice. Look at that. Looks pretty, right? Smells good. I got my little roller here. That's my roller. Yeah, I roll my joints. And it makes nice little, nice joints. Perfect joints. And I only use 0.5 grams. That's amazing. That's even better. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's watch this Trump, and then let's go ahead and watch this.
But on a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? Did you see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple of days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do him for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, and I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff. Well, it's fake news. You know, it's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying, like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest.
He was like, nah, I didn't know they were talking about me dead. I was busy this weekend. He went golfing with his freaking granddaughter and then like with his family. Like the media went crazy over the weekend talking about, oh, Trump is dead. Trump is dead. We haven't seen him in 3 days. Oh my God. Oh. Yeah. The media didn't go crazy when Biden was fucking gone like for 500 and how many days? He was gone and like he was gone for like weeks. And then we didn't even know if he was alive or not. We had to like make sure, can we get like a video or a picture of this guy like alive? Can we get him in front of a camera? Like Biden would disappear. You know, those doubles, you know, they had a lot of like fill-in for Biden because the guy, I don't know, it's very weird. That's all I gotta say. It's very weird. Let's go ahead and check out this news here about what's going on in Venezuela with this I guess is an attack, a missile attack. A missile from one of our ships intercepted a drug ship in the Caribbean, which killed 11 individuals. Ooh. So let's check that out because this is breaking news.
Trump announced late today that the United States has sunk a boat after it left Venezuela carrying drugs. It is the first known military strike in the region since President Trump ordered an increased military presence in the Caribbean. Nick Schifrin's following all this, and he joins me now. So, Nick, tell us, what do we know about this strike?
President Trump said that the U.S. Navy operated against that boat that you said that was operated by Tren de Aragua. that has been designated by the administration as a foreign terrorist organization. And the president posted this video on Truth Social this afternoon, saying 11 members of the group were sailing toward the United States carrying illegal drugs. And attached to the video, he wrote, quote, "Please let this serve as notice to anyone even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware. Thank you for your attention to this matter."
Wow.
Exclamation points. Now, as you said, President Trump this summer ordered a large Navy and Marine deployment to the area. You see some of the ships there. A Navy official says it includes destroyers, cruisers, as well as smaller ships capable of launching Marines onto shore. And in total, it's thousands of service members, including submarines. The administration describes it as a drug mission and uses the language of war, as Secretary of State Marco Rubio did today.
We destroyed a drug boat that left Venezuela, operated by a designated narco-terrorist organization, which is what these are. And he's been clear that the days of acting with impunity and having an engine shot down or a couple drugs grabbed off a boat, those days are over. Now we are going to wage combat against drug cartels that are flooding American streets and killing Americans.
Now, that said, regional experts tell me the drug trade is highly decentralized, and fighting it is not usually a military effort. It is traditionally seen as law enforcement. So there are economic tools, there are diplomatic, political tools, and tools used by the Drug Enforcement Agency. So that is what fundamentally has changed. It is the U.S. Navy, not the Coast Guard and the DEA, taking these steps. The nature of the military deployment, though, means that some experts believe this is a message or a threat to Nicolas Maduro, the head of Venezuela, whom Trump accused of controlling multiple gangs, including Tren de Aragua, and whom Trump tried to depose during the first term by backing an opposition figure. Reporters asked Rubio that specific question today, whether the U.S. would operate against Maduro. He said, look, this is a counter-drug operation, but he wouldn't discuss any future operations.
And has there been any response from the Maduro government in Venezuela?
There has not been today to this strike, at least not in a couple hours, but just yesterday, Nicolas Maduro gave a rare press conference. He described the military deployment by the Trump administration as proof the administration was seeking regime change, and he tried to paint Rubio, not Trump, as the aggressor.
Mr. President.
Mr. President Donald Trump, you must be careful because Marco Rubio wants to stain your hands with blood, South American, Caribbean, Venezuelan blood. They want to drag you into a bloodbath, to tarnish the Trump name forever with a massacre against the Venezuelan people, with a terrible war across South America and the Caribbean. This would be a full-scale continental war.
Maduro trying to paint this clearly, Amna, as an inevitable U.S. military effort against Venezuela, which the Trump administration says is not on the cards right now.
Nick Schifrin, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Man, it's funny because they can really wipe out. I want 50 million, man. Can we go half? Chloe, you want to go half? We'll go after Maduro's. We'll go half. Chloe, half and half. I get 25, you get 25. Hey, listen, sharing is caring. But besides the 50 million, Venezuela is a very beautiful country. Very, very beautiful. And the fact that it's being run by cartels and the drugs are just steamrolling out of there, like this attempt to get this boat to cross the Caribbean was intercepted by the U.S. I guess it's whoever's out in sea, the Navy, who intercepted them, like who took that fire, who took that shot. Like, we don't have the news yet because that's just breaking right now. But hopefully we'll find out which ship targeted and destroyed and killed 11. Wow. They're not playing games anymore. We're not, like, the flow of drugs, it has to come to an end. And I know the Democrats are very, very upset about this because that's how they get their money. Listen, they all deal with drugs. Everything is all about drugs, money, the cartels. They buy votes. They get these like massive immigration migration that came here to the United States and influence and try to influence elections here and influence the census and try to gain more individuals into Washington, which is very disturbing. That's why we need to remove all these illegal immigrants because we don't need them here. They're eating up our resources. They're taking up a lot of our food, our water, our like all our infrastructures. Like there's just too many people here, and the system is not created to serve all those people. The system was created for the American people that live here. So the fact that we have foreigners here that infiltrated and have taken over, how the hell are we like allowing this to happen and just paying for their stay here, paying for their home, paying for their light, paying for their gas, paying for their vehicle, paying for their cell phones, paying for their clothes. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay. Chicago over there is setting out $600 million just for the illegal like immigrants. For the illegals. $600 million. That's a lot of money. That's incredibly a lot of money. I wish I would win the lottery. I win the lottery. I win the Powerball, and I win that 1.2, 1.3 billion dollars. My payout would probably be around that amount, 600 million. And then I'll let you know how the fuck I feel when I have that money in my pocket, and y'all gonna be like, "Help me, help me!" I'm like, I would make sure I have a certain structure to help those in the future if I was to win. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of like no, like you just got to do it. You got to help, and certain people out there need help. Um, but it's like that's a lot of money, $600 million. Holy shit! I would put easily. I would put 500 million into the market. I will put it right in. I will put it on all different things. I will put it on all different things and make even more money. I could flip that 500 million. I could come out with billions if I play that market right. Oh man, and trust me, I'll have good investors to influence and help me to make that amount of money. Oh my goodness, I could be a multi-billionaire. You know, I don't need a lot of that money. I can put all that shit right into the market and just let it just keep making money. Let the golden age continue and just let it ride. You know, I'll be coming from a banging big ass studio, like the whole background will be all set up like fucking like beautiful. It would all be state of the art. Everything would be like so changed and so like wow. If that was to happen to me, oh my goodness, the show would definitely get big time upgrades. And for a fact, I'll have thousands of people watching easily. you know? Oh man. We gotta continue on with the news though. Enough of the dreaming. I would love for it to come true. Oh, imagine. That would be so wild. If that was to come true and I did win the lottery, that Powerball, I don't think I'll ever will tell you guys. I don't think I'll tell you. You'll know by the change of the show. You would know by the whole setup being all different and like a big time setup. We're talking about like with staff members and everything. with we'll have everything. It just be it would be a cool thing, you know. It's just I could just imagine, you know, imagine. Oof, a good imagination. Uh, but let's go ahead and watch this here. It's Benny Johnson. Oh no, Obama's. Wait, hold on. Is this Barack Obama's gay lover dead after mysterious illness and blowing whistle? Oh my God, they killed him. They killed Obama's gay lover. They got to him. Oh my God.
What's up, guys? Benny. It's a well-known fact that powerful people have those who could compromise their power killed. It's happened all throughout history.
Oh my God.
Very normal. It happens in Russia all the time, or in Havana, or in Kim Jong-un's North Korea.
lover.
This is a daily occurrence.
Crazy.
Spectacularly, however, we think that our nation is immune to these types of mysterious happenstances where hundreds of people who have compromising information on the Clintons go missing or die by suicide, shooting themselves in the back of the head 12 times. Ladies and gentlemen, the Clinton body count is a conspiracy theory centered on the belief that U.S. President Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary Clinton have secretly had their political opponents murdered, totaling as many as 50 or more victims. Okay. And then they go on to explain all the very, very strange murders. Anyway, this is something that sort of reared its ugly head about Barack Obama in various stages of Obama's political life. Now, we know as a matter of fact, and on our program had Rod Blagojevich, who was the former governor of Illinois, extremely popular guy, who could pretty much have done anything, but he got caught in the trap of the Obama machine and was destroyed for it, completely pillared, was taken off the chessboard, had to be pardoned by President Trump of all people. Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Rod Blagojevich talked to us at length about how corrupt Barack Obama was and how he would gladly have his political enemies either murdered or imprisoned in order to protect his power.
Wow.
So that brings us nicely along to the Obamas themselves. It's a very strange thing that happened at the Obamas' massive palatial estate in Martha's Vineyard while the Obamas were home with the Secret Service there. Their beloved private chef, who had known them for the better part of 15 years, his name's Tafari Williams, he drowned in a paddleboarding accident. Now, this has been officially ruled a accident for a guy who was a really good swimmer, who had a witness with him, a mysterious young woman who was on Obama's staff, who was watched by the Secret Service while he was drowning, because they have cameras there. Secret Service are the ones who called this all in. And the point is that, like, it's very odd, like, and it's very strange, and nobody's ever gotten to the bottom of it. Like, how did this happen? Who are the mystery people who witnessed this? Why did anyone go help him? This chef certainly didn't deserve to die. There was speculation that perhaps he was writing a tell-all book, so on and so forth. I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. Why couldn't Tafari Campbell bring himself back to the water surface after he fell overboard? These are some of the major questions, right? So this is the chef. Again, seems like a family man. He had a couple kids. His wife is now widowed. Very sad. But like, why couldn't he bring himself back after he fell off the board? It's very strange. This is not deep water, by the way. You can see how shallow the water is here. You can literally see the sand. This is the Obama's house. Some other questions. Who was he paddleboarding with? Why did it take police hours to find the body? Where was Obama? Who called 911? These are massive unanswered questions. We don't have all the information, but we do know that the Obamas are unscrupulous people. The Obamas live, let's just call it a very creepy and odd relationship. Barack Obama is a very secretive person and is somebody who openly admitted in letters that were published by his ex-girlfriend that he liked men. From 2023, Barack Obama told his girlfriend, I make love to men daily, but in my imagination. Okay, right, got it. This is a 40-year-old letter that resurfaced to an ex-girlfriend. In regard to homosexuality, I must say this is in Barack Obama's own hand, and nobody has refuted that this isn't an authentic letter. I must say that I believe in an attempt to remove oneself from the present, a refusal perhaps to perpetuate an endless farce of earthly life. You see, I make love to men daily, he wrote in 1982. Okay. This was the girlfriend, and here's the letter in Barack Obama's own hand. My mind is androgynous, and to a great extent, I hope to make it more so until I can think in terms of people, not women, as opposed to men. But in returning to the body, I see that I have made a man. Physical life, I choose to accept that contingency. So he's like straight up describing like transgenderism here, effectively. He says, yeah, I see that I have been made a man, and physically in life, I choose to accept that contingency. But like, maybe I could be in a different body. I don't know. It's really creepy. I haven't looked at this stuff in a while. And the only reason I'm sort of dragging this stuff up, this is from 2023, is because of one, the creepy and odd relationship that Barack Obama has with his wife. Here's the last time we saw them on camera together. Barack Obama walking into his very awkward wife.
I am low. Look at you. How are you?
Wait, you guys like each other?
Oh yeah, really? Huh?
That's so
the
nice.
Rumor mill. It's my husband, y'all.
She took me back.
Now don't start.
I can't.
It was touch and go for a while.
It's so nice to have you both in the same room
I
together.
I know, because when we aren't, folks think we're divorced.
Let me tell you. First of all,
what a creepy weirdo! What a series of creepy weirdos! All of these people. In this same interview, Barack Obama admitted that you must have a gay man as a friend.
Oh, bring a gay friend.
I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't outlawed, who became one of my favorite professors. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group, so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right.
Or whatever. He said, or whatever.
Okay.
That's weird.
Well, Barack Obama had more than just a gay friend that was a professor in college. Allegedly, Barack Obama had a really fun time with a guy named Larry Sinclair. And the reason why we're making this video and asking all these strange questions about Barack Obama, sort of lining up all the dominoes of his creepy past, is that Larry Sinclair has died. And we don't exactly know why. And we don't know how. But we just know that he's not with us anymore, according to his own X account.
Wow.
Man who allegedly had gay sex with Barack Obama, Larry Sinclair, has passed away. Horrified to hear this. He was a very kind man. Larry Sinclair, of course, famously doing a Tucker Carlson interview seen by 40 million people, 69,000 reposts. Yikes. Okay. This is the Larry Sinclair account. This is the account that he posted from and did videos from and so on, saying that he is now dead. They posted this photo of Larry Sinclair, who's obviously a troubled man, a peculiar individual, but then saying that he got really sick and he passed away.
Wow.
The account doesn't say who is taking the liberty to write all of this, but it's
could have
wrote
poisoned
some
his
type of
ass.
very strange pentambrance. It's a sort of rambly, peculiar way to post.
They could have posted. They could have
But then
poisoned him.
saying that, you know, he will be remembered and so on. R.I.P. Larry Sinclair. So that's we're just going to take that at face value. We're trying to find corroborating evidence of this, but that this is the account that Larry Sinclair has used, saying that he's now deceased, right? So here's, for instance, a video of Larry Sinclair from the account thanking Tucker Carlson for doing an interview with him. Here's what Tucker Carlson had to say about Larry Sinclair. I think this is a really interesting summary about, you know, who he was and what he did. He said that he smoked crack with Barack Obama and had homosexual sexual encounters with him. Here you go.
People I love and know really well. And the media is too, by the way. I mean, the media is reporting on government, but it's also dependent on government. You know, in 2008, it became really clear that Barack Obama had been having sex with men and smoking crack. And a guy came forward, Larry Sinclair, and said, I'll sign an affidavit. And he did. I'll take a lie detector. And he did. I smoked crack with Barack Obama and had sex with him. Well, that was obviously true. Nobody reported it, not because they were squeamish about sex or drugs, but because the Obama campaign said anyone who reports on this gets no access to the Obama campaign. And so they didn't report on it. So that happens. That's just one small example, but that happens all the time with lots of different issues.
Now, do you believe that transpired, or do you believe the guy is legitimate, or both?
Oh, the Larry Sinclair story? Oh, that definitely happened. Oh, for sure. I mean, I've talked to Larry Sinclair about it, and definitely it happened. I mean, Larry Sinclair's been in and out of prison during one period. I mean, 40 years ago, he was in and out of prison. He's got a criminal record by definition. He's, poor. He's got a disordered life. He's missing a tooth. Like, he's not, an Atlantic fellow. He's not going to the Aspen Ideas Festival. I think he has a record of deception. Obviously, he does. But this story, if you listen to it in detail, is clearly true. I mean, I'm going to do an interview with him and you can hear it. And again, it's not going to change the world that Barack Obama likes dudes. I think this was well known. Barack Obama said so himself in a letter to his girlfriend. And by the way, that's kind of Barack Obama's business. I'm not attacking him for liking dudes. I'm just saying the amount of lying.
Larry Sinclair wrote books. For instance, here's Barack Obama and Larry Sinclair, Cocaine, Sex, and Murder. Larry Sinclair died. Barack Obama's gay lover. Larry Sinclair has been out talking about sexual relations with Barack Obama for a very long time. He did, in fact, entire events at the National Press Club here. This is where this would be in Washington, D.C. According to his ex account, Larry Sinclair has passed away. He said he had 2 sexual encounters with Barack Obama that involved crack cocaine and was later arrested on the orders of Beau Biden. Wow. This is Joe Biden's son. It's very strange. Very strange. I mean, call it what you will. It's very odd. I didn't even know Larry Sinclair was sick.
Weird.
Larry Sinclair, his story was ripped apart, shredded, and set on fire by Obama and the mainstream media. There was no motive other than to tell the truth. He was hushed away faster than white people have an opinion on racism. Don't look away. This actually happened. Obviously, he did have a sketchy background. But nonetheless, Tucker Carlson breaking massive international news by talking to Larry Sinclair. And this is the interview, I guess, rest in peace, Larry Sinclair, that broke the internet and led to a lot of questions about Barack Obama and who he really is. Here's just a short snippet. Rest in peace, Larry Sinclair.
I had no idea that he was a representative in the Illinois House. I had no idea he was in politics. I just knew that he was supposedly married and at the time was going through some issues with the marriage.
He said that?
That was made clear, yeah.
Huh. Did he say what kind of issues?
No.
Do you remember? No. So you said, I'm looking for someone to wake up. He knows you're referring to cocaine. I know where to get it. What happens next?
We get back in the limo. The driver takes us wherever it is that Barack had instructed him to take us. I had given Barack $250 to pay for coke. He gets out, comes back. I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort.
And you're in the limo.
Yep.
Driving or parked?
No, the driver's driving.
Yep.
I start to put a line on a CD tray. And I just happened to notice that he pulls something else out of his pocket. And next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I don't have an issue with it. I mean, some people smoke, some people snort.
Smoking the cocaine?
Yes. So as I'm doing a line, I just start, this is the part where you kind of make your move to see where things are going. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Oh Lord!
So the night became somewhat active sexually and drug-wise in the limo.
So you hit on him. Did he seem shocked by that?
Not at all.
Yeah. I mean, if you're smoking crack with a stranger in the back of a limo, like, you got to imagine things might go crazy places.
Well, not only imagine it, I look at it this way. I've done a lot of crazy things in my lifetime. I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I pretty much know whether or not I can move in a certain direction with an individual. I didn't feel that I was going in the wrong direction. I just wasn't so sure how much I could trust the individual at first.
Damn, that's crazy. And now the guy's dead. So Obama's like, yes, motherfucker's dead now. Can't talk shit about me now, huh? It's crazy. This world is really weird, you know? It's just all these secretive people. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird. Weird. So, let's go like back to back on a few of these stories here. And that way we can just try to get through this. It's definitely going to be over a 2-hour show. So my neck is already hurting me, but we got to keep it going. Just got to keep it going. Let's go. Let's watch this here. What the hell is happening in London? Look at all these people recording. What's going on here? They don't have any batons? Do their police have any guns? Yeah, I think they have guns. Why are these people moving on them? What is going on here in London? Look at these people. They're just moving up on the cops. If I would have had a baton, I would be hitting these people. I would be striking them left and right. Look like how they're pushing. They sprayed them. They sprayed them with pepper spray. I just got pepper spray. Hey, Tony, get the fuck back. You don't listen. You got sprayed. Yeah, arrest them. That's it. They're gonna have to start getting their country back, man. UK, you need to fight for your country, man. You gotta get these illegals out of there. Get all these hoodlums, all these illegals, and kick them the fuck out. You gotta send them back to their country. You know, the vacation time is up. The bullshit is done. They need to freaking look at this guy. Look at this. Who is this guy with the red? Like, this is so peaceful. You hear it? You hear the people? This was so peaceful. Yeah, it really looked like very peaceful with them pushing the cops.
This is insane. Oh, somebody else getting arrested.
Good. More people getting arrested. Good.
That's it.
No, that's it. You know, no more games. You know, the gig is up.
Press is fine. Your officer's safety is more important. Remember.
The gig is up.
Taylor face coverings off. Failure to comply will result in you being arrested. Come on. Come on. From Silver.
This is crazy. This is London. London, man, you need to fight for your country. Look at this clown.
Greta Thunberg has debuted a fresh new haircut for her latest Mercy trip to deliver food and supplies to Gaza.
I have a feeling they're gonna kill this girl. Somebody's gonna end up killing this little girl. The hair looks horrible. She looks like Farquhar.
Online commentators mocked Greta's bizarre new look, with this commentator saying, "Let's all take a moment to congratulate Greta Thunberg on her successful transition into Lord Farquaad." And another commentator hilariously compared Greta to He-Man. And this commentator doubled down, saying, "Why is Greta Thunberg always so angry?"
Yeah, she always
the new
looks
hairstyle
angry.
comes as
Look,
Greta
now she's all
embarked on
happy.
a fresh Freedom
She's
Flotilla
leaving.
Mercy Dash to Gaza to distribute food and supplies to the region.
But this story is also about a global uprising, about how people are stepping up when our
Who is
governments
she?
fail to do so.
Who is this puppet?
But unfortunately for Thunberg and her activist friends, the mission ended almost as soon as it began, with wild weather forcing the crew back to Barcelona within the first 24 hours.
What?
Sky News commentator Esther Kraku slammed the stunt, saying it's all for attention.
A few things about that, Esther. I mean, first, Israel was not occupying an inch of Gaza when Hamas took those hostages. 2, there is no genocide. And 3, is she excusing Hamas for holding and starving Jewish hostages?
I'll tell you what's even more incredible, that, and you know, as a national broadcaster like Sky News UK is even asking a young lady who's basically a truant that became world famous for whinging about climate change, anything about the nuances of the Israel-Gaza conflict. That's what I find astonishing. Why? What qualifications does she have? The last boat that she tried to take to Gaza, which is literally a war zone, was intercepted. Why is she doing this again? For the attention. And this is what I keep saying, it's become the omni-cause. People that have no real intimate understanding of these sorts of issues, it's become the same as, you know, LGBT rights and climate change and now Israel Gaza. They're just one cause for people that have nothing better to do than to just make media headlines. And the fact that that journalist could seriously ask this young woman with a straight face, not what job do you have? Are you going to seek employment anytime soon? But what would your message be to Israel? As if the Knesset is in any way making political decisions based on Greta Thunberg is hilarious to me.
The forced return by the weather may have just saved Greta and her crew from Israeli capture, with the Israeli government threatening to detain the activists in terrorist-style cells. According to publication Israel Hayom, the Israeli National Security Minister Ben Gvir will present Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu with a harsher plan to deter the activists from returning, instead of simply turning them around like they did last time. Greta and her crew have been threatened with detention in terror-style cells lacking television or radio, without superior quality meals and involving prolonged custody rather than merely overnight. This is a far more brutal threat than Greta's treatment last time her flotilla entered the region, when Israeli authorities simply put her on a plane back to Europe. Sky News host James McPherson applauded Israel's tough stance on the pest.
She wants to go to jail.
Thunberg is back in Gaza, or at least heading to Gaza. She first tried in June as part of a flotilla that tried to break the blockade set up by the Israelis. She was intercepted. She spent a day in Israel before being sent home on a plane. Interestingly, while she was in Israel, she was offered the chance to watch footage of the October 7 attack so she could see what was done to the Israelis. She refused to watch that. Her ignorance continues, and now she's setting off with others to try to break the blockade again. Here she is talking about her trip, and she was asked specifically, fair enough, you're upset about what's happening to the Palestinians. I think we're all upset about what's happening to civilians, but what about the hostages?
We know your views on what's happening and Israel's actions. Can I just ask you your thoughts on Hamas? They're still holding hostages. What would your message to Hamas be?
Again, there is a genocide going on.
Palestinians have been living under suffocating oppression. And when there's an
Oh, here
occupational
comes the
force,
puppet talk.
this is not my views. By international law, people have a right to resist that occupation.
She really is insufferable, isn't she? As I said last time she tried this stunt, the Israelis intercepted her boat. She was in Israel, I think, for a night before they sent her home. But this time, they're promising not to be so nice. They've said they'll put her in jail, and one of the prisons reserved for terrorists at that. So, Freya, once again, Israel doing the world's work.
Wow. They need to throw her ass in jail and let her serve some time, you know, and then shut that mouth up, because, like, she's like, oh, the Palestinians. Oh. It's like, listen, be careful what you wish for. You're going to a lion's den and you're bringing it food, okay? Like, you're a prime hostage type of person that they could just grab and what? Who's gonna go and try to trade for Greta? Like, what would they give up to get this girl back? You know what I mean? So she's just putting herself in harm's way, and she's just fucking crazy, man. She's crazy, and you know, we're living in weird times. And it is what it is. It's just crazy. Here's another story I want to check out here. This is a wild one too.
Now to a troubling report from the East Coast. With warmer coastal waters, more waterways in the U.S. are seeing a rise in flesh-eating bacteria. Dr. Sanjay Gupta spoke to one survivor who says she's lucky to be alive.
I thought she was going to be a goner.
What the hell is
Stephanie
that?
and Lacey, two sisters, taking a walk they thought might never happen. It was just last year that Lacey almost died from a flesh-eating bacterial infection.
You wouldn't believe the pain. It's just, I wouldn't wish it on no one. And the whole time I thought I had the flu.
It started with pain that seemed to come out of nowhere. Then came difficulty walking. A few days later, Lacey's daughter rushed her to the emergency room in her small town of Brookhaven, Mississippi, where she was diagnosed with an infection caused by the deadly flesh-eating bacteria known as Vibrio vulnificus. She was so sick that she was immediately airlifted to a trauma hospital in Jackson for emergency surgery.
I had a surgery just about every day to every other day that I was in the hospital.
On the pink,
You know,
she
I
got
was just a
style.
shock. He told me he had cut all her thigh out, part of her behind. I went from being a healthy person to I have to have a cane or a walker. And I'm thankful to be here, though. Very grateful.
Take a look. This is the bacteria. It loves warm, salt, and brackish waters. Sometimes people get sick through contaminated seafood. Other times, it is open wounds. Thankfully, the more serious type of infections are rare. Maybe a couple hundred reported in the United States every year. But out of those, 1 in 5 may die. And fast.
From the time of the bacteria gaining access to the GI tract or through a wound and to where it gets into the bloodstream and can cause illness. So it can be a matter of hours or a few days.
States up and down the eastern seaboard have been concerned with the rising cases due to warmer water. And lately, Atlantic Ocean temperatures have been off the charts.
And the E.
The
coli,
warmer, the better.
the shit in the water.
It incubates really well, with the heat. So it doesn't get too hot for it.
Like many people, Lacey doesn't know when or where she actually contracted the bacteria. But she does know this. That little pathogen changed her life forever.
Wow.
It was a nightmare. I mean, it was just a nightmare. I don't wish it on nobody.
That was Dr. Sanjay Gupta reporting. And according to the Minnesota Department of Health's website, these bacteria are uncommon but require immediate medical attention. You'll find a list of symptoms online.
Wow, that's crazy. We're going to check out another story on that.
Over to Louisiana now, where 2 people have died after eating raw oysters. That, according to the state health department, both deaths caused by that super dangerous flesh-eating. bacteria that we've been telling you about called Vibrio. The state says at least 22 other cases of Vibrio have sent people to the hospital. Across the Gulf, in Florida, another 23 cases, resulting in 5 deaths so far this year. The bacteria thrives in warm coastal waters like the Gulf of Mexico. Most infections happen when you go swimming with an open wound, but it can also get into raw or uncooked seafood. We want to bring in NBC medical contributor Dr. Kavita Patel with more. So, Doc, it seems like every year about this time we're hearing about Vibrio. Is it seasonal, and how can we make sure that people avoid catching this potentially deadly infection?
Yeah, Tom, it is indeed seasonal, but I just want to warn you, Vibrio vulnificus, which is what causes these infections, can happen any time of the year. And the reason we see it in general, just here's some tips that kind of help you. The reason we see it between May and October is because those are warm coastal waters, and that's when you can see the kind of proliferation of this bacteria. How do you avoid it? Avoid eating raw or undercooked shellfish. This includes raw oysters. I know
I don't eat
popular,
oysters.
but it can be a source. Wash your hands if you're handling raw seafood. Avoid swimming in what we call brackish or salt water, especially if you have an open wound. Just don't do it. An open wound could be a new ear piercing, a tattoo, or surgery and recovering from surgery. And then immediately get in touch with a health professional. Wash out those wounds, because that's how you can start getting that kind of flesh-eating problem, depending on how you get these symptoms and infections. Talk about that.
So talk about the symptoms then. What should people be looking for? What should they be thinking about? And when should they go to the ER?
Yeah, so great questions. And it's also hard to know. Could it be something else? Because usually you're swimming. There can be some other infections. We've talked about other things you can get. So here's some symptoms. Symptoms that you can get usually from food are the kinds of things you would think of: diarrhea, cramps, nausea, vomiting, fever, and chills. This tends to be a little bit more common, Tom. But then because of just this ability to get the infection in a wound, that's when things can get really serious. And unfortunately, you can see everything from fever, redness, pain. I've actually seen limbs that people have had to remove just because this flesh eating, the part that we're worried about, can get really quickly spread and can cause discoloration of skin. And you can also see fluid leaking from an open wound.
Wow. So the symptoms can be serious. And of course, obviously the illness or the bacteria itself is very serious. Dr. Kavita Patel, thank you very much.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top.
The people are just dying from this bacteria is so disturbing. That's so disturbing. Ugh. That's just crazy, man. Remember the story from yesterday? For those who are watching and who watch my show, thank you very much for watching. I truly appreciate it. But there was a story about that ding dong ditch. I guess it's that we used to call it a different thing back in the days, and it used the N-word, and it was like the N-word knock. That's what we used to call it. That was it. It was the N-word knock. I'm surprised people are not using that. It's because that's how it used to be. That was the name of that. Is basically you either kick the door, you bang on the door, and then you start running. And they used to do that in school. They used to do that in middle school and high school, but they call it the N-word knock. I'm just saying that's what they used to say it. Well, guess what? There's a development, so we need to get an update on that and what happened with that kid, the 11-year-old who did the the guy, long story short, he ran after this kid and he ran out there with a gun and he shot the kid in the back. Not facing him, in his back. Shot him, killed him. There's an update to that story, so let's go to that update. Okay, let me set it up. Here we go.
A Houston man is charged today with the murder of a boy who was playing a prank. Police say 42-year-old Gonzalo Leon Jr. shot and killed a child playing ding-dong ditch with his friends. Officials say it happened around 11 o'clock on Saturday night. 11-year-old Julian Guzman was shot in the back as he and the other kids were running away from a house after they rang the doorbell. One neighbor said this is the first time in years that kids have tried this prank.
These are all dead-end streets, so we all pretty much know each other in this neighborhood. It's a small neighborhood, so that's what's very concerning about that, is that these groups of children were running around so late at night.
Well, investigators seized several rifles and handguns as evidence while executing a search warrant at the house.
Wow, they took all his weapons. Well, I mean, he is under investigation, so, but the fact that he took all his weapons, but that ding dong ditch, that's not the name of it. That's what I'm telling you. I don't know it by that. They want to be politically correct, but back in the days, they used to call it the N-word knock. Okay? So, with a hard G and a hard ER. It was, yeah, crazy. Let's see. What else do we got here to watch? Because I do have some more to watch. Let's see what happened with this Biden appointed judge triggers legal battle over immigrant kids. Yeah, I want to know what's going on with that immigrant kids. Let's go ahead and find out.
Illegal immigration is facing another legal challenge. Illegal immigration is facing another legal challenge.
No,
a
the
federal
hell
judge is
that
temporarily
happened?
blocking flights, sending hundreds of Guatemalan children back to their home country. William Lajeunesse is live in LA. He's got this story for us. Hi, William. Good morning.
Good morning, Dana. You know, this is a Biden-appointed judge who turned around one plane already in the air and several others on the tarmac to stop some 600 children from being reunited with parents in Guatemala. So there are two different versions of what happened. So the National Immigration Law Center claims these kids who cross the border illegally as unaccompanied children are being deported illegally, arguing each one as young as 5 years old deserve to remain in the U.S., saying exposing children to multiple harms and returning them to a country where they fear persecution and by flouting their legal obligation to care for them in the United States is wrong.
Young kids.
Now, the Trump administration, however, says the children's parents asked they come home, and the Guatemalan officials confirm that, arguing the children are better off with family than in U.S. shelters indefinitely.
You see?
These children should be reunited with their parents. If their parents are in another country and there's no credible fear claim, then those children should be repatriated, reunited with their parents in their country of origin.
Now, in blocking the flights, Judge Sparkle Sugnanan says, I have the government attempting to remove minor children from the country in the wee hours of the morning on a holiday, which is surprising, but here we are. I have conflicting narratives from both sides. Now, unaccompanied children typically stay in shelters 3 to 9 months until the government finds housing, usually with a relative. But reports of abuse and neglect are common, and tens of thousands of kids are lost each year. Now, under President Biden, thousands of children were ordered deported without their day in court or a lawyer. Of 80,000 cases filed against children over 5 months in 2023, 30,000 were under age 5. Most never show up in court. Now, in this case, the two sides are due back before Judge Sugnanan next Wednesday. Dana?
All right, William Lajeunesse, thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And that means Lee Earhart. And click here to.
They got to get these kids back to their parents. How about that, right? Hold on. These kids don't want to be here. These kids were sent here. And these kids are like, fuck this shit. I don't want to live in this fucking system. Like, I'm fucking trapped inside this fucking place. And I feel so uncomfortable. And, like, I'd rather be with my family. Like, why is a judge, a Democratic appointed judge by Joe Biden himself, appointed this judge, and this judge is interfering and blocking the deportations of young children back to their parents? What's the problem? Help me make it make sense. Can this lightning bolt hit me in the head and just say, fuck it, just don't deal with this shit anymore, Rick. We're gonna put you out of your misery because this is just it's beyond stupid. It has gone way beyond stupid. It's just, what happened to common sense? These kids want to go back to their parents. They want to go back to their family. They want, like, why are we holding them back? Why is the judge denying them their freedom back to their parents? And it's been confirmed by the Guatemalan government and their parents and also the United States. It's not like we're just sending them back and just throwing them over there. No, this is a joint a mission between the governments that are going to reestablish these children back with their parents. What the fuck is the problem? You know, these Democrats, man, they need to learn to choose their battles wisely, because there are the people that group is the little girl that cried wolf. I'm not even trying to say the little boy, but it's the little girl that cried wolf. And these Democrats are just playing into that. And the next thing you know it, they're gonna go downhill. It's not gonna be good, and nobody's gonna be there for them. That party's just gonna die. And it's so sad because it's so stupid of them. It's like there's no common sense in that party anymore. Everybody's just so far gone, and I don't understand the brainwashing system over there. Like, what got into their food? What got into their water? What is going on in their brains to make them think that way? It's just, to me, it's confusing. So let's go ahead and go to another story here.
Operations are ramping up across the country, but you're going to see a ramp up of operations in New York. You're going to see a ramp up of operations continue in LA. And, Portland, Seattle. I mean, all these sanctuary cities that refuse to work with ICE.
Okay, so that's the
Metro Connecticut. Connecticut, please come here.
Soon ramp up enforcement in Portland, Oregon.
Come to Connecticut.
Not before the riots hit the streets of that Dem-led city overnight. This is how it went.
Look at this.
So the violence against federal agents already erupting in the sanctuary city, and officers issuing an order for everyone to leave that area. In addition, the far-left activists set up a guillotine in front of an ICE facility. And for good measure, they burned an American flag. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons with the announcer, good morning to you. The question was whether or not Portland and Seattle and Chicago are going to get the treatment soon, whether or not they have to concede. But just looking at this order from a judge in California blocking the National Guard from going into California, can you beat that, sir?
Bill, I tell you what the biggest problem is just what you showed, right? They're not trying to stop our operations. They're just out having lawlessness. So I think going forward, we're going to have to work with all our federal partners and all local law enforcement to stop these crazy radical left protesters, because there's no place for this in our society. And on top of that, it takes local law enforcement resources away from the people who actually need it to deal with these crazy activists. It's unreal.
Okay, so what about the miners and that flight that was prevented from going to Guatemala? Can that be revisited?
Yeah, that can be revisited. Unfortunately, I can't really discuss that because we already are in legal talks right now with the Department of Justice working on our options. But I would just say that, kind of like the one person in that spot hit before, these children have parents in another country, and it's our job to go ahead and reunify them. And on top of that, it was one of President Trump's main priorities with this immigration enforcement pickup was identifying and finding more than 300,000 unaccompanied children that came to the United States. So we're still going to keep that mission going. We're still going to attempt to locate these children, many of which we found in slave labor type situations, sex trafficking. So that's still our number one priority, is the protection of these children.
Wow. Okay. Quite the story there. Let's move to Kristi Noem's appearance on CBS. We're going to play a clip. Now, she says half of her answer was cut out. This is how it went on Sunday.
The one thing that we will continue to do is to make sure that he doesn't walk free in the United States of America. This individual was a known human smuggler, MS-13 gang member, an individual who was a wife beater, and someone who was so perverted that he solicited nude photos from minors, and even his fellow human traffickers told him to knock it off. He was so sick in what he was doing and how he was treating small children. So he needs to never be in the United States of America, and our administration is making sure we're doing all that we can.
So what the viewers should understand is screen left is what did not air, and screen right is what was cut out, basically. CBS says this: Secretary Noem's Face the Nation interview was edited for time and met all CBS News standards. The entire interview is publicly available on YouTube, and the full transcript was posted earlier this morning. I don't know how many folks read a transcript. We do, because it's kind of in our business and it's our job. I can imagine some people go to YouTube and see that. What do you make of her claim?
Well, come on to My Mind Over Your Matter and watch here.
Well, it's very disheartening, the fact that they want to go ahead and stop Secretary Noem from telling the truth about this, this egregious offender, right? So to your point, Bill, no one's going to read a transcript, or no one's going to go to YouTube. You had millions of viewers at that time, the Sunday morning show, watching that, and have key parts of that conversation cut out. It's not right. Under President Trump's administration with Secretary Noem, she's committed us to being transparent, and that's what we're doing. The American people need to know exactly who we are arresting. In the last administration, we were always on the defense when it came to media, but now we want to make sure that public actually knows what the men and women of ICE are doing out there every day. In that interview, she told about this offender and why he needs to be deported back to his country. And I think, it's a shame that they would go ahead and edit that, because this person isn't a Maryland man. He's a criminal alien from El Salvador that's living in Maryland that we need to take off the streets.
Okay, Todd Lyons, thank you for your time, sir. The part they cut out was like the facts that the federal government's making against him. So it was intriguing nonetheless, and we'll see if there's further reaction to that as we go forward. Todd Lyons, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Will. Great talking to you.
The media is wild. You got to be careful with the media.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here
You
to
see how they
Fox
manipulate
News
the news, and then they come up with fake shit, like that video with they're throwing something out the window of the White House. It's like those windows are sealed. They weigh 600 pounds. Who the fuck is gonna lift that window up? Like, they're bulletproof. They're heavy. Oh yeah, the window was just open and just threw something out the window. That was funny. That was they caught the world, because people were like, the Democrats are already getting mad and they're already doing their videos. Look what they're doing in the White House. They're throwing this thing out the window. Oh my God. This is a tragedy. This is a oh my God. We're gonna blame it on I don't know. At this point, I don't know. They blame on everything, They always come up with some excuse and some kind of like, I don't know. It's just, I don't understand the Democratic Party, to be honest with you. They confuse me. I'm so confused by them. They're so wild. Let's check out this one. Oh, this is the guy who tried to assassinate Trump at the golf course. Let's check out this story, see what this story is about, because it's a little weird, Let's check it out.
A Fox News alert now. Ryan Ruth, the man accused of attempting to assassinate the president last year, is in court right now in Florida. It's his final pretrial hearing before jury selection next week, and he is apparently representing himself today. Ruth is facing 5 federal charges, including attempted assassination of a major presidential candidate and a slew of weapons charges. His criminal defense attorney, here's criminal defense attorney Donna Rotuno.
Given the fact that he has this long, extensive history, a mental health history, I am quite surprised that there have been no requests here to determine his fitness to stand trial, because I think if there's ever an issue coming back in an appeals court, that may be something that is risen. And I'm surprised that the public defenders that were originally assigned to this case did not raise that issue.
So our Dana Marie McNichol is live in Fort Pierce, just outside the federal courthouse now. Dana Marie, what's the latest?
Hi, Aisha. Well, Ryan Ruth, as you just mentioned, is in court right now for that last hearing. He will be taking center stage after firing those public defenders last month. So here's what we could expect for the beginning of next week's trial. Ryan Ruth will be in business attire after Federal Judge Eileen Cannon ordered the shackles be removed. Prosecutors raised concerns that he might wear political clothing. Ruth is expected to face challenges as his trial moves forward. Judge Cannon has ruled that Ruth cannot access any classified information, citing risks to U.S. national security. Although Ruth dismissed his public defenders, Judge Cannon is requiring the attorneys to remain on standby for Ruth to help with any legal advice when needed. Now, court documents paint a picture of Ruth's bizarre antics before he attempted the assassination, but a motive remains unclear. Questions remain about Ruth's international ties and why he was closely tracking the president's movements with several cell phones. Back in March, President Trump called for answers.
He had 6 cell phones. That's a lot of cell phones.
Yeah.
And a couple of them had some strange markings on them. So,
6
yeah, I want to find out.
And looking ahead to next week, Aisha, jury selection begins on Monday. The judge ordered partial sequestration for that jury to prevent any outside interference from the media.
Okay, Dana Marie McNichol in Florida for us. Dana Marie, thank you. Let's bring in Andrew Cherkasky, former federal prosecutor. Andrew, it's very interesting that he would decide that he wants to represent himself. The argument he's making here to the judge is that I'm innocent, and these guys over here, my defense attorneys, don't believe me. So how could they defend me? But what do you make of him choosing to go this route?
Well, I think he is desperate to turn this into a circus or into a show trial where he puts his character up against the character of Donald Trump. The problem is on every level, he's going to lose and lose spectacularly. The government here has a rock solid case. They have weapons on him. They have the gun being fired. They have a note that suggested that he wanted to kill President Trump. And I do not think that there's any grounds here to have an insanity defense because he went to a specific place with the tools necessary to execute the plan to assassinate Donald Trump, who was there at the location. Somebody who's insane would have a very difficult time putting all of those pieces of the puzzle together to still not appreciate the nature of their conduct. So he is going to do his best to be vocal and to try to get political points out, to try to attack Donald Trump. But he is the victim here, President Trump. And I think that Judge Eileen Cannon is going to keep the trial very much on track.
Yeah, it does. I do agree. It does sound like he's trying to make headlines here instead of actually trying to fight for his freedom. And I want to ask you about his state of mind. I think that's a question that often comes up with this guy, especially because some of the local affiliates in Florida were reporting that he was begging to trade him for hostages around the world. He said that he wants to be useful and not spend life in prison with no usefulness. And he talked about being traded for hostages in Russia, in Iran, Hong Kong. What does that tell you about his state of mind? Is there a potential that a jury looks at him and wonders if he's in the right state of mind?
I think that it says that he is trying his best to be a political martyr, that he is trying to create some path to get what he is looking for, the cause that he is fighting for. He is so far off, though, from any common sense of morality or dignity in how he is going about this everything from the actions on the day in question through the trial. He has a right to defend himself, but I do not think that the jury is going to start to wonder about insanity issues or that sort of thing, because as I said, he took very deliberate steps that took a remarkable amount of planning, and that actually took him not only to the golf course, but he was there when President Trump was there. That was information that was not particularly available to the public. And so all of those pieces together show that he is acting in a particularly directed and intentional manner, not insane, even though the actions to outsiders may seem crazy or may seem wild, and particularly to the entirety of our country here. He does not have that defense.
Before I let you go here, Andrew, just so we're prepared for what happens next week here, does he, because he's representing himself now, does he get a say in jury selection, or do his public defenders that are still kind of standing by because of what the judge asked for, do they have a say in that, or what's he exactly going to do with jury selection?
He has a right to consult with his standby counsel, but he is the one who's engaged in jury selection, opening statements, cross-examinations, even his own testimony. He would be doing it on his own. And then, of course, closing arguments. He also has to navigate all of the legal technical grounds to discuss with the judge, to make objections and whatnot. So he is deep in over his head. And I do think that we're going to have a very slow trial while they try to deal with that.
It sounds like we're in for a ride. So we'll watch it in the next couple of days. Andrew, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campanio. Catch me and my co-host Harris Faulkner and Katie.
He's representing himself. That's the last person I remember who did that was that guy. What's his name? Damn, I forgot his name. That crazy ass dude. He was crazy in court. He was just all over the place. Damn, I forgot his name. He's the one from, I think it was it from Wisconsin up there? Damn, I forgot his name. I remember his face. I could see his face. I just don't remember his damn name. Damn, now I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. But I remember his face. I remember he was very crazy in the court. Like, he was just a wild. I wonder if this is going to be the same like type of case. I mean, I could follow up on it. All right, so we come to the moment in the show where we showcase Tyson De La Cruz. So that means we got a back-to-back show on Tyson, a possibility back-to-back-to-back. I know he uploads. Well, they upload the video around 10:15-ish. It comes on and they load it. And I definitely would like to catch it tonight. So that's why I've been watching a lot of news together, which is okay. Because it's good to be informed. I like doing the psychic stuff and everything, it's pretty cool. But I feel like the people need to be paying attention to what's going on in the world. And a lot of people are not really paying attention. They're so focused on the psychics and what the cards tell me and all this stuff. And that's okay. But they need to also be focused on what's happening like every day here in this beautiful world we live in together. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and jump right into Tyson De La Cruz. So let me set this up and let's watch.
The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and Franklin Police have arrested 27 people as part of a bust of a major drug trafficking operation.
America, we just witnessed a massive takedown that proves the Sinaloa's reach still extends far beyond the Mexican border. 27 people were arrested in Franklin, New Hampshire, a small town with just 8,500 people, in a coordinated operation that seized $100,000 in cash and exposed a drug distribution network directly connected with the same cartel we've been talking about with El Mayo Zambada. But here's what's going to blow your mind. They had to clear out a homeless encampment that was being used as a drug distribution center. And the drugs were being funneled from Lawrence, Massachusetts, which has become the fentanyl capital of New England.
Through their investigation, they found this drug operation was tied to the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story proves that the cartel problem isn't just a border issue. These criminal organizations have distribution networks reaching into the heart of small town America, using the most vulnerable citizens as cover for their operation. Let me break down exactly what happened in Franklin, New Hampshire over 2 days that should terrify every American parent. Day 1, August 26, 2025, DEA agents and Franklin police executed 3 search warrants. 17 people were arrested, $100,000 in cash seized, 1 firearm recovered, unspecified quantities of fentanyl and methamphetamine seized. Day 2, August 27th, 10 additional arrests were made. Homeless encampments cleared that were being used as drug distribution centers. Multiple law enforcement agencies participated in this.
The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and Franklin Franklin police have arrested 27 people as part of a bust of a major drug trafficking operation.
This wasn't some random drug bust. This was the result of a 3-month investigation that started when the DEA received information about drug trafficking networks operating in Franklin that was supported by the Sinaloa cartel. DEA agent in charge, Jared Ferget, didn't mince any words. The Sinaloa cartel in Mexico has a strong hold on drug distribution in New England, and this week's enforcement action attacked their street-level distribution network.
Officials at the DEA do say that through their investigation, they found this drug operation was tied to the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico.
Now here's where it gets really disturbing. DEA believes these drugs originated with the Sinaloa cartel and made their way into Franklin, New Hampshire from Lawrence, Massachusetts. And folks, Lawrence has become the fentanyl distribution capital of New England.
I took this little tiny piece of what I thought was crack cocaine and I inhaled it and I went down. It took 6 Narcans to get revived.
Let me give you the scope of what's happening in Massachusetts. Yeah. February
Massachusetts is not far from me.
5 individuals charged in a conspiracy that distributed $20,000 worth of drugs per day throughout eastern Massachusetts and Rhode Island. February 2025, 10 people indicted in the Lawrence-based organization distributing fentanyl and meth in New Hampshire.
That comes from Canada.
Dominican National pled guilty for operating fentanyl distribution hub that supplied Massachusetts cities.
Police say this all started when the DEA got information about a drug trafficking network working in the city.
This shows you the pipeline. Sinaloa cartel in Mexico to Lawrence, Massachusetts to Franklin, New Hampshire. They've created distribution networks that can move deadly fentanyl from Mexican cartels through Massachusetts into small New Hampshire towns. But here's the kicker. Despite Massachusetts being a major drug trafficking hub, they're actually seeing decrease in overdose deaths. This doesn't change the fact that they're serving as a distribution center for poisoning communities across New England. One of the most disturbing aspects of this case is that law enforcement had to clear a homeless encampment that was being used as a drug distribution site. Think about what this means. The Sinaloa cartel is using America's most vulnerable citizens as human shields for their criminal operation.
Now, officials say a homeless encampment was cleared too because it had been involved in ongoing drug distribution.
This is a strategy that we're seeing across the country. Cartels set up distribution operations in homeless encampments because less law enforcement scrutiny. Police are often reluctant to aggressively patrol homeless areas. The vulnerable population aspect, homeless individuals can be coerced or paid small amounts of money to participate. There's constant turnover. People come and go, make it harder to track these networks. And then there's a sympathy factor. The public and media sympathy for homeless makes enforcement politically difficult. These cartels are literally exploiting America's homeless crisis to distribute the same fentanyl that's killing over 100,000 Americans every single year. They're using the most vulnerable citizens as cover for operations that destroy American communities. This Franklin operation required coordination between multiple law enforcement agencies, and it shows what's possible when federal law enforcement takes the lead. On the federal level, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration was involved. On a state level, New Hampshire State Police. On a local level, Franklin Police Department and multiple New Hampshire police departments.
During the investigation, we seized 100-gram quantities of fentanyl and methamphetamine. Additionally, during the 2-day takedown operation, we seized a large amount of drug proceeds.
The Franklin police chief said the DEA took the lead on this case and we're proud to have supported their efforts. By working together, we're able to remove specific drug trafficking operations from our community. Agent Forget added, this case is an excellent example of how federal leadership and local cooperation can come together to protect communities like Franklin from dangerous drug trafficking. This is exactly what we need more of. Federal agencies taking the lead on cartel operations while coordinating with local law enforcement. What's happening in Franklin, New Hampshire is part of a much larger pattern. The Sinaloa cartel, the same organization that El Mayo Zambada led for decades, has established distribution networks throughout New England. Agent Forget specifically said that the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico has a strong hold on drug distribution in New England. This isn't about isolated incidents. This is about an organized criminal enterprise with tentacles reaching into small American communities.
And the DEA also does tell us that this case just highlights the work federal and local officials are able to do to keep communities like Franklin or the entire Lakes region here in New Hampshire safe.
Think about the sophistication of this operation. International coordination is required, orders and money flowing between Mexico and New England, multiple state distributions, using Massachusetts as a hub to supply New Hampshire, local recruitment, finding people in Franklin willing to participate, and the infrastructure development, setting up distribution points and homeless encampments. The financial networks moving over $100,000 in cash proceeds. This is economic warfare disguised as drug trafficking. The Sinaloa cartel is literally poisoning American communities while extracting wealth from our economy. The fentanyl and methamphetamine seized in Franklin are the same deadly substances that are killing over 100,000 Americans every single year. This bust shows you exactly how these drugs are getting into small New England communities. And here's what makes this so deadly. Fentanyl potency is 50 times stronger than heroin, 100 times stronger than morphine. There's a contamination risk, often mixed with other drugs without users knowing, and the overdose potential, small, tiny amounts can be fatal. And it's also very addictive, and it creates dependency that feeds cartel profits.
The names and charges of all 27 people who've been arrested aren't being released at this point, but police do say some arrests were directly tied to drug trafficking, while others were unrelated but still part of their operation.
The fact that some arrests weren't directly related to drug trafficking, but were still part of the operation shows you how these networks operate. They create entire ecosystems of criminal activity, drug trafficking, money laundering, weapons, identity theft, and other crimes all working together. This Franklin bust comes as the Trump administration has designated cartels as terrorist organizations and is ramping up enforcement against these criminal networks. The Sinaloa cartel is now being treated as a terrorist organization that's waging war against American communities. Under President Trump's Take Back America initiative, drug traffickers are being elevated to the level of terrorists, which allows for enhanced penalties, asset forfeit, and coordination between different agencies. America, this Franklin, New Hampshire bust proves that the cartel problem has reached every corner of our country. A town of 8,500 people had Sinaloa distribution networks operating in their communities, using homeless encampments as cover, fueling deadly fentanyl from Massachusetts. This case shows that the cartel problem isn't just a border problem. It's a national security issue affecting communities from Mexico to Main Street America. When a small New Hampshire town can have a major Sinaloa cartel operation, nowhere is safe from these criminal organizations. The 27 people arrested in Franklin represents just a small piece of a massive criminal network that stretches from Mexican cartels through Massachusetts distribution hubs into American communities. But this bust also shows what's possible when we have the political will and the federal coordination to fight back. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, Tyson. Yeah, I mean, a lot of drugs come through Canada. You know, like we have an open border pretty much with Canada, and they just bring it down through Maine, and they bring it down to New Hampshire. And there's a corridor, which is the I-95, that goes through Boston and goes through New York. You know, it goes through all these areas that are not really good areas, that there's a lot of drugs, and you wonder how the hell they get these drugs in here, right? Because everyone's always, they need it on a daily basis. So you wonder how the fuck they get these drugs in here. And example, what happened today with the boat being hit by a missile, and it blew up the boat. I saw a video on it on TMZ, and I was like, yeah, those people are dead. No, there were 11 people in that boat, and they are all dead. And they were doing a drug run. It was a drug run. So what Venezuela's gonna do? You're gonna challenge the United States to war? I mean, they're talking tough, right? Venezuela's talking tough. The problem is that if the U.S. really wanted to put them out and put them out of their misery, they could. You know, they don't want the innocent people to be harmed. but they will definitely take out their military and will take out Maduro's like very easily. So like, be careful. You have a chance to step down and step out, and exit it, like Exodus, get out of there. They'll send you to some island, and you could relax and retire there and not have to worry about doing anything ever again. Or they're gonna go after you and they're gonna kill you, and that sucks, But he's very defiant. He's like, they're gonna challenge the U.S. and I don't know. And they brought out a nuclear submarine, and the fact that the east coast of the United States has a lot of military, and Connecticut is the home of the submarine, so we have a lot of submarines, and they can be deployed. And I don't know, they're talking about a continental war. That's what Venezuela's talking about. Like Maduro's talking about, it's gonna be a continental war. Bitch, bring it. The only fear I have is like they throw missiles and shit. They're gonna try to like aim for Puerto Rico. I'm like, that's fucked up. That's fucked up when they come trying to aim for Puerto Rico. But Puerto Rico's gonna have a lot of military personnel there. They are usually based out of Vieques. Vieques, Puerto Rico is an island off of Puerto Rico, off to the east of Puerto Rico, and that's the Navy and the Marines usually they practice there and they're based out of there. So we do have a lot of personnel in that area, and this is a big one. Venezuela is pretty big, and if we could take down Venezuela, wow. But the people need to step up. That's the problem, When people are scared, they don't speak up because their life could be on the line, and if they say something, the next thing you know, they could be dead. And that's just the way it is. And that's scary. So we're going to go to the next one here of Tyson De La Cruz, and we'll talk after.
Smartmatic, the major election technology company behind California's 2020 elections, is being accused of funneling taxpayer money into a slush fund to bribe government officials.
America, we just uncovered a massive corruption scandal that's going to blow your mind. Smartmatic, the voting machine company that sued Fox for $2.7 billion after the 2020 election, has been caught red-handed funneling Los Angeles County taxpayer money into the same slush fund they used to bribe foreign election officials. 3 of their top executives have been indicted by the Department of Justice for running a years-long international bribery and money laundering scheme. But here's the kicker. They allegedly used the money from their $282 million contract with LA County to fund these criminal operations.
According to LA Times reporters, prosecutors say Smartmatic executives overbilled LA County.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story perfectly illustrates everything we've been saying about voting machine companies and their questionable integrity. While they were suing Fox News, claiming defamation, their own executives were running international criminal enterprises.
The U.S. Justice Department indicted 3 current and former executives from Smartmatic on charges connected to a bribery scheme. Prosecutors say the executives used a slush fund.
Let me break down exactly what these Smartmatic executives are accused of doing, because this is next level corruption. We're talking about Roger Alejandro Pineda Martinez Jr., the company president and co-founder, George Vasquez, former vice president of hardware development, and Eli Marano, their contract overseer. From 2015 to 2018, these executives allegedly paid at least $1 million in bribes to Filipino election officials to obtain and retain contracts for the 2016 Filipina elections. But here's how sophisticated this operation was. They funded these bribes through a slush fund created by overcharging for voting machines.
The company maintains the indictment does
That's
not
crazy.
involve voter fraud, and the business itself is not included in the indictment.
Here's the step-by-step process. First, they would overcharge the government $10 to $50 per voting machine in extra to a rush fee. Then they accumulated about $6 million in slush funds managed by Hong Kong bank accounts. Next, they used bogus purchasing agreements, shell companies and banks in Europe, Asia, and the US to move the money. Finally, they paid bribes to election officials who then used that money to buy luxury properties. This wasn't some amateur operation. This was international money laundering using multiple countries and shell companies to hide bribes to election officials. Now, here's where it gets really concerning for American elections. In 2019, prosecutors are alleging that one of the Smartmatic executives transferred money from their $282 million Los Angeles County voting machine contract into these same slush funds that were originally set up to pay bribes to foreign election officials.
But court filings point to similar schemes in Venezuela and here in Los Angeles, where the firm landed a $282 million contract.
The DOJ says they have documents and witness testimony to support these claims. Now, they're not saying the LA County money was actually paid out of these bribes, but they're saying it went into the same slush fund system that was used to bribe foreign election officials. Think about that for a minute. American taxpayer money from an election contract potentially going into the same accounts used to bribe foreign election officials. This is exactly why people have been concerned about these voting machine companies and their integrity. And get this, LA's top election official, Dean Logan, has acknowledged meeting frequently with the now indicted co-founder. Logan claimed he had no knowledge of the company misusing funds, but records show Smartmatic officials paid for his dinners, they paid for his travel, and even trips to the Magic Castle, none of which obviously Logan properly disclosed.
LA County's top election official, Dean Logan, has acknowledged meeting frequently with the now indicted co-founder, but said in a statement he had no knowledge of the company misusing funds.
Let me tell you about Dean Logan's relationship with Smartmatic, because this is where it gets really sketchy. In July 2019, Logan took a 9-day trip. Smartmatic paid for business class airfare, accommodations, and meals for the Taiwan portion. And of course, Logan's wife accompanied him, and he gave Smartmatic his credit card number to cover the $5,000 airfare. Under California regulations, gifts from a single source were limited to $500 per year at that time. But Logan didn't report this as a gift because it claims it was a work trip. Are you kidding me? A 9-day trip to Maldives and Taiwan with your wife paid for by voting machine company? You don't think that that's a gift?
However, records show Smartmatic officials paid for dinners, travel, and even a trip to the Magic Castle, which Logan never disclosed.
Smartmatic also paid for meals at upscale restaurants for Logan. At least one meal wasn't reported on Logan's annual disclosure forms. Logan claims it was a personal meal, so he didn't have to report it. This is the same pattern we see over and over again. Public officials getting wined and dined by companies seeking government contracts. Then they claim it's all above board until they get caught. You need to understand that Smartmatic has been controversial since day one. They were founded by Venezuelan engineers in 1999 and got their first major contract in Venezuela in 2004 when Hugo Chavez was facing a recall election. A $91 million contract despite having no experience with voting machines. The Venezuelan government owned 28% of their partner company, and a close associate of Chavez was on the board. In 2006, they tried to enter the U.S. market by buying Sequoia voting systems. But when the Committee of Foreign Investment launched an investigation into their ownership and ties with the Venezuelan government, rather than cooperating with the federal inquiry, they quickly sold off Sequoia and left the U.S. market. The corruption in the Philippines shows you exactly how these executives operate. They won a contract worth more than $180 million to supply the Philippines with over 90,000 voting machines for the 2016 election. election. They overcharged the Filipino government and used the excess money to pay for bribes. In 2017, the Filipino election official's estranged wife told authorities her husband had $20 million in unexplained wealth. She provided 35 passbooks for offshore bank accounts in his name. He then resigned as chair of the Election Commission 2 months after that. Let me break down what these executives are facing, because this is serious federal time. They're charged with FCPA violations. That's the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act, including conspiracy to violate FCPA and substantive FCPA violations. That's up to 5 years in prison each. But the money laundering charges are where it gets serious. They're facing conspiracy to commit money laundering and international laundering of monetary instruments. 3 counts each. That's up to 20 years in prison for each money laundering count.
Meanwhile, Smartmatic denies all of the allegations, calling them baseless and politically motivated.
So we're potentially looking at decades in prison for each defendant. Roger Pineda and Eli Moreno are on administrative leave from Smartmatic. George Vasquez left the company in 2021 during the DOJ investigation, but the LA County contract is still active, running through March 2027 with possible extensions through 2033. Smartmatic says the DOJ allegations are filled with misrepresentations and claims they operate ethically. But when 3 of your top executives are indicted for bribery and money laundering, and prosecutors have documents and witness testimony about your contract money going into slush funds, that's not a good look for the voting machine company. Now here's where it gets really interesting. After the 2020 election, when Trump and others questioned Smartmatic's role, the company sued Fox News for $2.7 billion, claiming defamation. But now Fox News is using these corruption indictments as part of their defense. Fox News is arguing that if Smartmatic had a trouble expanding their business into the United States, it's because of their own corruption and troubled history, not Fox News reporting. They're also trying to get records from LA County about Logan's relationship with Smartmatic to support their defense.
But in a search to find out where all that taxpayer money went, federal prosecutors say they'll lay out financial records, emails, and witness testimony as the case heads to trial.
Think about the irony here. Smartmatic sued Fox News for $2.7 billion while their executives were under federal investigation for corruption. They claimed Fox News damaged their reputation, but it turns out their own criminal behavior was the real problem. This shows exactly why concerns about voting machine companies aren't conspiracy theories. They're legitimate questions about integrity and accountability. America, this Smartmatic corruption scandal proves everything we've been saying about the need for proper oversight of voting machine companies. When a company's executives are bribing foreign election officials and potentially using American contract money to fund those operations, that's a serious problem with election integrity. This isn't about partisan politics. This is about basic integrity and accountability in our election system. We have voting machine companies with a history of controversial relationships with foreign governments, executives who bribe election officials, and contracts with American countries worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The fact that LA County's elections officials received unreported gifts from this company while overseeing their massive contracts shows the kind of cozy relationship that undermines public trust for our elections. This case is going to trial, and federal prosecutors say they'll present financial records, emails, and witness testimony showing exactly where that taxpayer money went. I'll follow this story closely because it goes to the heart of election integrity and government accountability. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comments section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
And that's Tyson De La Cruz. Like, the voting machines, you can't even fucking trust them. You can't. I never trust it. Anything that's connected to the internet can be manipulated. I'm gonna make a shirt. I'm gonna get a shirt made out. I'm gonna put Tyson on it and say, Tyson, man, we gotta come up with a shirt. Anything connected to the internet can be manipulated. That's the truth. I've been saying that for years. And it's like, make accountability great again. The true MAGA. You know, we need to bring back accountability. Like, there's no accountability. And the fact that Chicago keeps acting up like how they're acting and things are just going crazy, it's just not good. So we're going to catch another Tyson De La Cruz. Let me just bring it up here. Give me 1 sec. So I could set it up and bring it up. I told you, right on time. 10:15. Got the upload. Ha 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 ha. So we're gonna watch another Tyson before we go to sleep. So hang on tight. I'm setting it up for us. And like promised, at 10:15, on time, Tyson De La Cruz.
Good evening, guys. We know at least 43 people have been shot in the last 48 hours.
America, we need to have a serious conversation
We're
about the
twins!
biggest hypocrisy in
We're wearing
modern
black hats and
Over
black
Labor Day
shirts.
weekend in Chicago, 43 people were shot. 6 died in a wave of violence that included multiple mass shootings. A 14-year-old boy was shot in the hand. 7 people were gunned down in a single incident in Bronzeville. And a homeless man was executed with a shot to the head. But here's what's going to make you furious. Where are all the Black Lives Matter protesters? Where are all the marches? Where are the demands for justice?
President Donald Trump has long criticized Chicago for violence, and he's expected to take action soon.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story exposes the biggest grift in American politics. An organization that raised over $90 million, claiming that they care about Black lives, but only showing up when the deaths are used for political and financial gain. Let me break down the carnage that happened in Chicago over just 48 hours, because this represents a real crisis facing the Black communities that BLM completely ignores.
WGN's Bruno Tumulty is live at Chicago Police Headquarters with our top story, a wave of violence headed into Labor Day. Bruno.
Good evening, guys. We know at least 43 people have been shot in the last 48 hours, 6 of whom have died from their injuries.
The violence started with a mass shooting in Bronzeville where 7 people were shot when somebody in a vehicle opened fire in a crowd. All of the victims were shot in their lower limbs and thankfully all expected to survive. But that's just the beginning of the weekend horror in Chicago.
And a separate incident earlier in the evening in Bronzeville saw 7 victims. It happened along the 3500 block of South State Street shortly after 11. Authorities believe it to be a drive-by shooting, with someone in a vehicle opening fire into a crowd.
Then we had an execution-style murder in Palsine. 3 men in their 40s were shot around 1:30 in the morning. 2 of them, aged 41 and 43, were attending an outdoor party where somebody approached them with a gun and shot them both in the legs. But the third victim, a 46-year-old homeless man who was well-known and harmless in the neighborhood, was shot in the head execution style. Witnesses say he was murdered in cold blood.
The older victim, whom police say was 46, passed away. Locals say he was homeless and harmless, well known in the neighborhood.
And now let's not forget about the 14-year-old boy who was shot in the hand while walking in Garfield Park. A child walking down the street becomes another casualty in Chicago's war zone. So where are all the Black Lives Matter protests? Where are all the marches demanding justice for these victims? Where are all the calls for accountability? The silence is absolutely deafening, and it exposes BLM for what it really is, a political drift that only cares about Black deaths when it's used to attack police and raise money.
Or you talk about like the safe streets and the no shoe zone. That's right. What Black Lives Matter and all that.
That's right.
Yeah, where the is they at? Where are they?
Wow.
They ain't out here doing anything. And Black Lives Matter, there wouldn't be so many homeless people or hungry people out here. They walking around chanting like they just throwing a party to me.
Think about this logically. If Black Lives Matter really cared about Black lives, they'd be protesting every single weekend in Chicago. Wouldn't they be demanding an action plan to stop violence that's destroying Black communities? Wouldn't they be organizing marches for a 14-year-old boy who was shot or a homeless man who was executed? But they're nowhere to be found because these deaths don't fit their political narrative. They can't blame these shootings on police or systematic racism. They can't use these tragedies to raise millions of dollars or advance their political agenda. So they simply ignore them.
I mean, to me, they just chasing a nonprofit grant. but they ain't feed not a soul out here.
This proves that BLM doesn't actually care about black lives. They care about black deaths that can be monetized and politicized. Every other black death is just ignored. Now let me connect this violence to Chicago's massive budget crisis, because this exposes the real grift that's happening. Mayor Brandon Johnson, Mayor Mohawk just announced that Chicago is facing a projected $1.15 billion budget deficit in 2026. That's billions with a B. But here's what's really infuriating. They don't want to actually solve the crime problem, because solving it would eliminate their justification for all this spending.
$146 million. That is the year-end budget deficit for the city of Chicago. But it is nothing compared to the projected shortfall in 2026.
Right, Marie, we're talking about a $1 billion deficit for 2026. And the city's budget director warned that is an optimistic outlook.
Johnson Mayor Mohawk is calling this harsh truths. But the harsh truth is Chicago's leadership has created a system where they profit from problems instead of actually solving them. They get federal funding specifically because they have high crime rates, poverty, and social problems. If they actually solve the crime problems, they lose the justification for billions in federal grants and contracts.
Chicagoans deserve the truth about the fiscal conditions of our city.
Mayor Brandon Johnson delivering what he describes as harsh truths at today's Zoom presentation.
And of course, the budget director is already blaming the Trump administration for potential cuts to federal funding for city housing programs, HIV/AIDS treatment, and early childhood senior care. But notice what they're not cutting: the massive bureaucracy and consulting contracts that keep the political machine running. Now, here's how this grift really works and why Chicago's leadership doesn't want to actually stop crime. Cities like Chicago receive massive amounts of federal funding specifically because they have high crime rates and social problems. Community development grants, violence prevention grants, social services funding, and emergency management funds all flow to the cities based on their dysfunction.
During the presentation, Mayor Johnson reiterated his concern that budgets have been historically balanced off the backs of working people.
Just know that I've said from the very beginning that the ultra rich and our large corporations have to do more.
If Chicago actually solved the crime problem, it would lose the justification for hundreds of millions of dollars in federal funding. There's a financial incentive to keep the problem manageable, but never actually solve the problem. This creates an entire ecosystem of nonprofit organizations that get government grants to quote unquote address the problems, but actually never fix them. Violence intervention programs get millions of dollars in contracts to organizations to claim they want to reduce crime, but never actually do. Community outreach organizations get government grants for community engagement that produces no measurable results. Reentry programs get funding for organizations that help criminals reintegrate, but don't actually prevent crime.
The residents deserve more. They deserve to feel safe. The crime should not take over the city. The crime should not make residents feel like they can't live everyday life.
All these organizations have executives making six-figure salaries off of government contracts. If crime actually went down, these organizations would lose their funding and these people would lose their jobs. Now, here's where it gets really dirty. Chicago claims that crime is down 13% overall. Shooting incidents have dropped almost 40% compared to last year. But we just saw 43 people shot in 48 hours with multiple mass shootings.
As we've been reporting, though, if you look at the latest CPD data available, crime overall in the city this year is down by about 13%. And if you look specifically at shooting incidents, it has dropped by almost 40% on last year's numbers.
We already know this. They're manipulating the statistics to keep the grift going. They're reclassifying crimes to make statistics look better, reduce police contracts so fewer crimes get reported, change reporting standards to make it harder to file reports, and focus on specific metrics while ignoring increases in others. This allows Chicago to claim success while maintaining a dysfunction that justifies continuing funding. They can tell federal grant agencies that they're making progress while simultaneously arguing they need more money to address the ongoing problems.
Just this weekend in Chicago, 5 people have been killed and 31 others shot, police reports show. But just like in D.C., violent crime in Chicago is down overall. Homicides and overall shooting incidents both down more than 30% in the last year, according to the city.
The Trump administration is calling their bluff by threatening to send federal troops to Chicago. President Trump wrote on social media warning Governor J. J.B. Pritzker. He better straighten it out fast or we're coming. This terrifies Chicago's leadership because federal intervention would expose their statistic manipulation and force real accountability. Let me break down the nonprofit industrial complex that profits off of Chicago's violence. After 2020, billions of dollars in government contracts and grants started flowing to organizations claiming that they're addressing systematic racism and police reform. These contracts created financial incentives to maintain the narrative that police are the problem and traditional law enforcement doesn't work. Diversity, equity, and inclusion contracts pays millions to consultants and organizations for DEI training and programs that produce no measurable results. Police reform initiatives provide government funding for organizations that claim to reform police while actually making it less effective. Community justice programs give contracts for restorative justice and community-based alternatives to traditional law enforcement that don't actually reduce crime.
They are trying to suppress our righteous anger, and we will not be suppressed. We will continue fighting back. We have been fighting back consistently for 2 months.
All of these programs have one thing in common. They create jobs and contracts for politically connected organizations while never actually solving the underlying problems. The people running these programs have a financial interest to maintain the crisis because that's how they make their living. For individual politicians and bureaucrats, their whole career advancement system is built around these policies. Speaking fees for officials who campaign on progressive policies, book deals about initiative approaches to crime, consulting opportunities for former officials, board positions for nonprofit organizations, and academic positions at universities. The real tragedy in all of this is who the actual victims are. Law-abiding citizens in these communities suffer from crime and dysfunction, while people claiming to represent them profit from their misery. Taxpayers see their money wasted on programs that don't work. Legitimate immigrants who follow the law are hurt by policies that reward illegal immigrant behavior. Small businesses suffer from crime and can't operate effectively.
At the end of the day, to have one person that was critically injured and 4 folks in the hospital, whatever the situation was, it was senseless.
The people profiting from this system don't actually live in these communities affected by their policies. The BLM co-founder bought multiple properties worth millions of dollars, including a $1.4 million home in a predominantly white neighborhood. The consultants and nonprofit executives making 6-figure salaries live in safe suburbs, while the communities they claim to serve deal with weekly mass shootings. Meanwhile, the 14-year-old boy shot in Garfield, the 7 victims in the Bronzeville mass shooting, and the homeless man executed in the pill scene got no protests, no march, no justice. Their lives don't matter to BLM because their deaths can't be used for political and financial gain. America, this Labor Day weekend massacre in Chicago exposes the biggest lie in modern politics. Black Lives Matter doesn't actually care about black lives. They care about black deaths that can be monetized and politicized. When 43 people get shot in 48 hours, including a 14-year-old and a homeless man executed in cold blood, BLM is nowhere to be found.
This afternoon, bullet holes still visible in vehicles along the 1900 block of West 17th Street in Pilsen. Some cars even being driven with smashed glass.
Chicago's $1.15 billion budget deficit proves the city's leadership has created a system where they profit from problems instead of solving them. They get federal funding specifically because they have high crime rates and social problems. If they actually solve the crime problems, they lose the justification for billions in grants and contracts. The nonprofit industrial complex has created an entire ecosystem of organizations that profit off of racial grievance and violence while never actually helping communities they claim to serve. Executives make 6-figure salaries, politicians advance their career, and consultants get rich while Black communities continue to suffer from weekly mass shootings. The statistical manipulation allows them to claim success while maintaining the dysfunction that justifies continued funding. They can tell federal agencies they're making progress while simultaneously arguing they need more money to address ongoing problems. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, which will be here Thursday, 7:30. Be here, be square. No more your questions ready to ask. me and Tyson. We're just gonna have a good little chit chat and go through some news together and give our opinions. It's fun. Last time we did it, it was last Thursday because we're keeping it to every Thursday now. Um, we had a good time. He was on here for like 2 hours. I he can't like 2 hours is great, but he can't handle me because if I get in a mood and then I'm just flowing, I could be on here for hours and hours and hours, and I've proven that before and many times. I've done shows that would last like 12 hours. And it was crazy back in the beginning days, way back in the days. It's always good to go back and reminisce. A younger me at that time, and you can see the change, the molding of the show, and where has it come to right now, and where we at today compared to how I was when I first started. I was in like a little small, little cramped little place, and I had my television behind me. I had like a little setup, little thing, but time grows and the channel grows and it's ready to flourish. So with Tyson's help, it's gonna happen. So it is what it is. I'm ready for it. I love communicating with Tyson and talking with him and going through stories and collaborating on discussions, and I like all that stuff. It's we come up with good questions and we're like, damn, that's a good question. It's like, yeah, how come they're not asking it? It's like it's fun though. And we were all black today. Like I had the black Puma hat. There's a Puma, like you can see it. Got the Puma hat. And it's my black Puma. It kind of looks like my cat, Nala. So that's why I wear it, because it reminds me of it's my cat. Cat Nala. She looks like the Puma cat. That's why I'm like, look at her, and I look at the Puma cat hat, and I'm like, that looks like my cat. It looks like my cat. So I buy the hat because it looks like my cat. Go figure. But it was a good show today. 2 hours and 40 something minutes. I'm tired. I'm been like leaning over this desk and my neck is killing me. It's like it sucks, man. Being in pain. It's just pain in the neck too. And of all things, like pain in the neck. Real pain in the neck. How they used to say back in the days, remember? You're a pain in the fucking neck. It's a fucking pain. The pain sucks. I could tell you it's not good. But I had a good show. I was happy. Tomorrow we'll do it all over again. And Thursday, be here 7:30. Tyson de la Cruz. I was thinking name of the show Rick and Tyson, or Rick and Tyson de la Cruz. Thinking about a permanent title for that, to keep it a series with him. And it's like, oh, it's almost like the shows are going to be like 2 hours long. So that's really good, really cool. I truly appreciate his time. Time is very valuable, but I've been honored and bestowed with his energy, and to have his energy with my energy and communicating with each other, and it's a good thing. It's very good. It's very therapeutical, and it's good to get things off of your chest. Because some people they hold on to a lot. And sometimes you got to release that beast that's inside of you. You got to get that bitch and go and throw that bitch away. Like that I remember the 9 of swords came out, and I was questioning. I was like, damn. And then it came out with the moth card, right? And then I was like, damn, I don't feel this like it's like I didn't feel it at that moment. But then after that, after I finished the show, the messages started coming up on my phone, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Like, I pulled out that card, and all of a sudden, my phone started just going crazy. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. I was like, nope. I was like, silent. Put the phone on silent. Put it away. Because I put my phone on silent. I don't want to hear, craziness and stuff like that. It's just the world's already nuts as it is. I don't need to deal with all the craziness too from the family and shit. And this is not my battle. You know, it's not my war, not my battle. Choose your battles wisely, right? And if it's not something worth fighting for, then don't get yourself involved. You know what I mean? Stay away from it at all costs. Stay away. Um, but it was a good show, and I'm gonna wrap it up. I wanted to finish smoking my joint before wrapping it up because I'm close to 3 hours, so I can hit that 3 hour mark. I'm like, all right. I know a lot of people are gonna hate me because I do this long shows, but I'm like, my voice is pretty timid. It's soft, so I'm thinking maybe they can listen to me while they sleep. That would be a great thing. I don't like scream on here. I'm not like and super loud. No, I'm a low tone. I'm very like smooth. Like I should be in the radio station, doing the love hour. Doing the love hour. It's like, yeah, no, I don't think so. I was offered a job to do that. That was funny. That was funny. Up here in Connecticut, I knew a really big disc jockey DJ for a radio station here, and he toured me the facility, and I saw the equipment and how they produce the shows and everything. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. Like back, behind the scenes tour. It was pretty good. And he's like, yo, I believe you could do really good, like the love hour. And he would tell me all the time. He was a family friend. So he would tell me all the time, he's like, man, you got that smooth voice. You could be easily put into the love hour. I'm like, nah, no thank you. I'm like, no, I'll turn that shit into a comedy show or some shit. I don't want to be only about love. Fuck that. What love has to do with it? Put on some Tina Turner. I'm like, oh no, Rick he's gonna fuck it all up. I was like, possibly. Just when you know your role, you know your role. That's it. That's funny. I used to love Tina Turner. God rest her soul, but I used to love like listening to it. My mom used to put it on the we had a record player, and I remember what love has to do with it. She had a lot of good songs, but my mom had that record player. I don't remember the name of it because I was really young, but like I remember Tina Turner's like she was really like funky and sexy, and she would always show her legs. I'm sure they were insured. I think she had like $1 million policy on just her legs, like insane, right? But it is what it is, and she came out with really good music, and it was really, it really. I like music that you can understand what the artist is trying to sing to you. Trying to like try to tell you what she went through, what she's like, try to make you feel how she felt and stuff. It's like it's a story, her singing was like a story, and what love has to do with it was so powerful. You know, it's always been a powerful song to me. And who doesn't like fucking Tina Turner? Who doesn't like Tina Turner? Come on now. She's a great artist. But I'm almost done. I'm almost done with the smoke. Almost done with the show. I had a great time. At least the show went off okay. In the beginning, I'm sorry about that delay. That delay was crazy. I was like, I was trying to aim for 7:30, and then I moved it up to 7:40. I was still trying to fix this damn situation, and now it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna have to restart it. So I restarted, get like all the shows up again, and set up and then get StreamYard to fucking work, and then it finally started working, and then set that up too. And it's a process. This is not an easy process behind the scenes. There's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes to get the show produced. It's not like magically that I get to do it like that. Like there you go. Like it don't work that way. It's not that way. I wish it was, but it's a lot of behind the scenes you have to do. It is what it is, you know. Some people got it. I got it. It's just I'm kind of slow with it, but I never was a perfectionist, so fuck it. It is what it is. It's the rough. It's the unedited parts. It's kind of like I think it makes it more unique, you know, because a lot of people like they do their reports and it looks clean. Like Tyson. Tyson does his shit, and look how clean it looks, and like it's well put together. Like me, unedited, live, smoking, having a good time by myself, listening to Tina Turner in my head. What else has to do with it? I just hear her song playing in my head. It keeps playing in my head. Like I can like even the beginning of the like how it starts is very smooth and stuff, and it's like and it builds up. It's such a great song. I'm gonna listen to it after I get off of here. I'll put it on YouTube and I'll watch the video. It's gonna be a Tina Turner fucking night. I'm gonna listen to Tina Turner. Oh man. If you had me on Discord, you could probably watch me from Discord. I'd be like, I'm fucking watching Tina Turner right now, motherfuckers. But she's a great artist. Good heart. One that I truly respected. But I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. I had a good time. But it's that time that I gotta say goodnight. And good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at, and I'll catch you on the flip side. But I do gotta wish you guys good night. And it was a pretty informal show. I mean, for today, I all this stuff that I show you guys is the first time I'm watching it. I set it up and then I watch it together with you guys, and then I tell you how I feel about the story, and that's how I've just been doing it. It's just watching it, and you guys get my opinion like instantly. Sometimes I can't wait, and I start talking over the video. I'm like, you motherfucker, you motherfucker. But it's that's the way the show is gonna go, and I'm having a good time. It's funny, but it's good to pay attention to the world and pay attention to politics, because these motherfuckers control us. They control our lives. They control everything. It's on their scope. It's like I just want people to be safe, especially in Chicago. You know, I don't want people to be dying every night, even all different cities, you know, all around. Hartford's crazy here. Like the other day, we just had a killing in New Haven. Someone got shot up. Um, Damn, I should have brought that story up, but I could probably bring it up another day. It was just like someone that got shot up. I think they got killed. It was close to a basketball court. They got shot up, and that's been happening a lot out here too. It's just the media doesn't really, the national media never really like hones in here into Connecticut, but Connecticut has like really bad crimes, especially in Hartford and in New Haven. New Haven's crazy, and also Waterbury. Waterbury's fucking nuts. Like I will never go to Waterbury at night, ever. There's certain cities you just don't go to at night, and Waterbury is one of them. Bridgeport is another one. New Haven is another one. It's just all throughout that southern Connecticut, southeast part of Connecticut is not a good area. It's very close to New York, and there's like a lot of like drugs and shit like that is in that area. Just not my type of. I don't know. I just don't like that part of Connecticut. But I hope he sends ICE here. Trump, if you're listening, I know you watch my show. You're one of the ones that watch my show. I know you are. I know you watch. If you don't, I know you hear me in your head. You're doing a good job. Just send ICE everywhere. But please send them here to Connecticut. Send them to Connecticut. It would help so much with the economy. It would help with the rentals. It would help with the food prices. It would help with the gas prices. It would help with everything. It will go down in price. Once you get the leech off, you can survive. Okay? You can't survive having that leech on you and it's just draining everything out of you. Like, no, bitch. Psh, bye. With that said, have a good night and thank you again for coming through. And for those rewatching, thank you very much too. You guys are awesome. And don't forget, Tyson will be here Thursday at 7:30. So be here and come with some questions. We appreciate that. Okay. Have a good one. Peace for now.